Yeah, I know I'm a few minutes late, but I had to get things set up, and plus I was doing some editing in the YouTube studios. What's going on, Leo boy? Yeah, like I was doing some editing in the YouTube studios, so I had got the thing started. Oh, now you see the title already by this point, obviously. Well, don't spin around. Oh, now you see the title. Oh, let me turn this down. For public knowledge, for those that's been around, y'all know I've been under the weather since Thursday. You heard me coughing on the live stream gaming. Yeah, I'm trying to get over my sickness. I'm not at 100%, but yeah. Yeah, you heard me coughing over the live stream, so I couldn't jump on nobody else's shit. If I did, I made a short cameo on there. After that, be gone. So yeah, I'm improving, man. I'm improving, eh? I'm still sneezing like a son of a bitch. That's all. That's all. Yeah, shit been going around the area. What a way to end the month and start a new one with the fucking nail. Crazy, isn't it? So I can go nowhere this weekend. So I had to play it safe. I had to protect my own ass. You know what I'm saying? Thank you very much, Leah. So hopefully I can be back up. Well, tomorrow I can be back up and running for the work week. Things should be back to normal from there. Then a whole new another weekend. I hope that bees are better, wouldn't it? It's freaking Super Bowl weekend this coming weekend. The next weekend coming up. So yeah. So I ain't expecting nothing less. Nothing less than that. Then after that, whatever. Ain't nothing special really going on around these neck of the woods. Same old for me, yeah. So yeah, but Thursday, yeah, it's been the weather been changing though. That's a factor why I came very ill. Like starting on Thursday, I started getting the scratchy throat, the itchy and scratchy throat, so to speak. And luckily, they had left at work, so we left early. Just went home, got myself some rest. No, that's tomorrow. But yeah. Oh, what's going on, Smokey, my man? Smokey. That's another guy y'all need to check out, Smokey. He beats the truth. There's, but but what was shit? I lost my fucking train of thought. What was I was gonna say? Oh, you had to work. Oh, all right, go ahead, taxi man. I mean, Uber guy, whatever you do, Uber, Lyft. Yeah, make that cheddar. All right, yeah, it was about me getting ill, getting sick on Thursday. But yeah, I started feeling it, so went home. Well, actually, I didn't go home after work. I had to start make a few steps, get some soup or whatever. I had to swallow that shit down. Well, actually, I ain't getting no soup until the next day. Yeah, though lying down and taking some shit for it was gonna go away automatically. But I have to do that more frequently for that to make some progress. Obviously, y'all know how it goes. We all adults, we know how it goes. We've been suffering this shit since we was kids. We know how to do the damn thing when we get sick. So yeah. And sorry if I sound like an elephant on the stream blowing my nose. I meant to admit when I did that shit. Shit was embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm feeling a whole lot normal again today, but not there yet. I'm still sneezing and shit. Yeah, excuse me. Still feeling a little bit something in my chest. Well, I got something for that because that's coming when you're eating something. That's coming. I got something for it. So yeah. Sorry, I ain't been able to. No, that ain't a Pepsi. It's happy hour, Leo. It's happy hour, Tubby. That's some alcohol. Happy hour at my place and on my show starts at 5 o'clock every day. Unless I'm planning on going out in the night to do the drinking. I don't pregame, at least not anymore. Unless I'm the one not driving going somewhere. So we're like, we just finished 1 month off into the new year. We're gonna see what the hell is this year fucking brings and how I'm gonna schedule shit. Shit at my job, they kind of made things confusing with the times off. They took away the little bit of PTR I had left at the beginning of this year when they decided to flip the script on shit. Saying you have to earn it. Well, in a whole different way. Thus far, I got 9 hours earned thus far. So I'm trying to see how this shit pans out. Cause I plan on skipping work next Monday to take care of some business. Not because it's after the Super Bowl. I know people are gonna be wasted, so that's justified it to take some time off because you're wasted. But you're playing your cards wrong. Because Sunday's supposed to be your recovery day, but that's the Super Bowl, the most important sport in America, right? I had old bosses that was my job was ran by some good old boys. They let us take the day off on Monday, the day after the Super Bowl, but we don't have those buses anymore. I still take off anyways to take care of business. So yeah, gotta do some text and do some other shit. Yeah, part of my life updates. So I don't plan on taking off again. Maybe until like sometime in June. Though my birthday's at the end of May. It falls on a Friday, so I don't go to work on Fridays usually. So yeah. So starts on May the 30th, falls on a Friday this year. So yeah, Sunday I might see some friends. Sunday on June the hold on, what's gonna be June the 1st? I might see some friends I ain't seen in months at that certain restaurant I used to go to. They relocated it at another place. They do it once a month on a Sundays. And I said I can't do Sundays because that's my recovery day. I'm sorry. What it is. I can't control them. I can't control the company or the venue that lets them do the shit. Hopefully they can work something out and go back to doing it once a month on Saturdays. That's the perfect time to do it. Because Sunday, I don't want to do nothing but lie down. Nobody bothers me or nothing. Unless I want to see somebody, like some family members. So I'd be surprisingly fucking 38 at the end of May. So yeah, but with me being ill this weekend, they kind of put a damper in my schedule. I was going to go to pay my little cousin to retwist my hair because it's not looking all that great. So yeah, I'm getting older and older. I think I'm losing hair. Yeah, I'm losing hair in the middle, but that could be covered up with some shit. No worries. So most of the time you can't fight old age. Some of the time you can. You just need the right tools for it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All my fucking fellow millennials, 90s kids, and the people that came before me, they understand me. They know what I'm talking about in that situation. But that's besides everything else. So welcome in new people coming in. I see 5 people are looking at this thing right now. So yeah, I ain't even shared this out unless it was on my YouTube and my community post. So yeah. So yeah, I kind of look crappy. Let me take this thing open. Well, yeah, I buy it. Oh, let me holler at that. Yeah, I'm going to buy it. Like, probably like a few months after it comes out. I'm going to wait for all the BS to disappear because every year 2K has their little issues, their glitches. But the game I got now, let me get into that topic right now about their game, the current one they have out now. No, I wish I could have got that on PS5 instead because I got the PS4 version and I got the PS5 version. I say the PS5 version for my nostalgia shit, like the WCW and WWF people, gameplay or whatever. Because I try to transfer all my shit from PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5, but it won't let me. All it's gonna do is erase what I had on PlayStation 5's version. That's just stupid. Say there ain't nothing in the cloud. Well, there's clearly some shit saved in there. The reason I want to transfer over my current shit over to the PS5 version because PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 4 version is shitty. You can't do certain things that you want to do, or else that game's gonna fucking freeze up. Like sometimes when it's a 2-on-2 tag team match, on the loading screen, it freezes up and you have to start over with the stream. And that shit makes me, you saw what people that was watching, y'all saw what happened with me on Monday. That shit was, no, I can't even explain it. I can't say pain in the ass, nerve wracking. It's worse than all that. Hey, ship happens. Hello, baby. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. Well, but that shit's nerve wracking. That's why I want to transfer, but they won't let me in. That's why I'm getting sick about the technology. They supposed to improve things, not bullshit you or downgrade. Still around. Hope you come around again. Hope you come around soon. Ship happens. I'm gonna start coming to your streams more often like I did last time. Yeah, I met her through Dep. She introduced Ship Happens to me. So yeah, with that. But yeah, as far as the gaming goes, I'm still doing the GTA shit. Know how to do those survivals, trying to beat them. I just need the right teammates to do it with it. Yeah, my biggest fear is like winning it and not being able to survive in the end. I feel I got to survive, even if I don't make the final blow in the end. Somebody else does, and I'm still standing in. Well, that was out of randomness. That's cool. I don't know some more is coming out, but yeah, that's how I feel when I do the survivals. There's some you just can't beat that you just have to leave alone and do other missions in the GTA online game, which I can't wait for 6 to come out, but I don't think it's gonna come out. It's you can put that in the same category as Dr. Dre's Detox album. It's not coming out, so you just have to accept it. All this hype for over a decade and nothing. Like I can understand they was have to put it out a decade ago, but couldn't because it was outdated. Yeah, it was gonna mess up a whole lot of issue, and we didn't want that. Yeah, I know about it. I heard people ain't happy about that. I don't think he's gonna become the world champion. I ain't watched the Royal Rumble. I don't watch their crap anymore, but I just read what's going on. People ain't happy about the winners. Plus, it's a new age. My interest in their stuff dipping. When I read shit, I don't like how they do things anymore. As far as the matches and goes, because I'm from the old school. Yeah, all the hotline shit is cool and all that, but I'm from the old school. Their matches are fucking too long. It don't have to be that long. Give somebody else some wrestling time on free TV. Let them develop a story. Give them a personality. Because when I was growing up, the matches on shows wasn't that long. You ain't gotta be. Sure, you don't have to fight or rest for 20 minutes to have a 5-star match. That shit can be 8 minutes and it's still 5-star. Just let the shit look good. Tell a story, huh? But if it comes to pay-per-view, then I'm all for it. Even the pay-per-views, the shit still be too fucking long. Even longer. That's just too much. Shoot, y'all got that big of a roster there. That should have gave y'all an idea years ago. That'll give some more people some TV time, man. But people got to wrestle that fucking long. And that's what I don't like about it. So I stick to the old school shit. Watching all that vintage shit on Peacock or whatever, or a certain website that still got the old shit. That's pretty much unedited and it came off of a video cassette tape. So I really never shared this thing, yo. I should. Let me share this son of a bitch. I know I ain't got no music playing, but I'm trying to be careful with shit. YouTube be tripping these days. Earlier you have to like give it an hour, then after an hour they'll start tripping with music. I know on Saturday, on the 8th, that's when my warning expires. Cause I got that, excuse me, hold up. I got that warning on my 17th anniversary. They shut down my whole stream and shit. Cause I ain't see the warning, the 5-minute warning. That's why I'm on my phone looking at the shit and on here at the same time. Cause I would not be poor. I would not be taken down again. Over no bullshit like that. That's why I say F YouTube most of the time or some of the time. Because that was a great moment for me, yeah. Jamming to some tunes and all that stuff. Everybody congratulating me coming in. Blessed for the past coming in. Watching some old videos of us on that anniversary day or night, whatever. They just had to ruin it. But there's certain songs you can't play on stream or they'll take you down. So yeah. And speaking of getting taken down, like last week, I did a stream last week, had to start over because some idiot did some unsavory shit to me. Then I say, that's all I'm saying for now. No more strangers. No more strangers. I got to know you in order for you to get in. Until then, you can stay backstage. Other than that, I'm a kick you if I don't know you. No, not if I don't know you, but you can stay backstage. Well, if I remember you and I don't like you, then I'm kicking you from the whole thing. I made lucky because you can't be trusted. I know the tricks of the trade or how to stop those people or block those people from doing so on my streams. I just dropped the ball last week. That's all. Let me share this out. Okay. Sorry, your Discord in a certain group chat. I'm gonna actually share the shit. Okay, maybe I can share it to my AC Daddy brothers and fellow ladies. Here we go with that. Yeah, I can try to get some people in here. Let's give them something to talk about. Or we can do like a watch along. Because I was watching some interesting videos. Some real world shit that could happen. Shit, I think I might do just that. Just to get the people talking. You know what I'm saying? Since it's still silent right now, it's the evening. The night's still young. The night ain't even born yet. It's still daylight out there, but it's about to get darker. I think maybe in an hour or so. I don't know if ain't that many people that I know are going live. I know that Sal doing their thing. Boss Lady Bird, some of the people from the E-Fetters, some of the E-Fetters are doing their thing. The ones that I know thus far, so yeah. Quiet night, so to speak it. See there. Like I said, I'm not at 100% well, so you still gonna hear me coughing and shit. I think I'll try to do a watch along. Well. Yeah, I think we'll do a watch along. Might want to hear y'all feedback on some certain things. I started to stay away from this real world shit. Well, I guess you can call it real world shit or whatever you like to call it. Sometimes this video I watched, you could probably consider it a conspiracy, one of the conspiracies or whatever. But I like your feedback regardless. So hold up, folks. Hold up. Let me find it. Be patient with me. Do not rush me. Shit, I watched it. I just watched it this morning. 30-minute video. Okay, here we go. I might stop the video to give my input on certain things. So yeah, thank you, Angie. Thank you, baby. I'm glad you're around. But I might do a watch along. If somebody comes up, then sure I might stop the video so we can get to chatting about this. Or they can give this input on what I'm about to share. Angie, I think you're getting turned on. All right, well, share screen. Okay. All right, here we go. Solo layout. All right, let me play this video.
Tonight's Fact or Fiction, we are looking into yet another claim about The Simpsons predicting a big news event.
The Simpsons have done it again. For years, people have been drawing similarities between gags in the episodes and things that actually end up happening in real life.
The Simpsons is more than a cartoon. It's a crystal ball for the future. Over the years, this show has shocked fans by predicting real-world events that seemed impossible at the time. From smartwatches to the rise of Donald Trump as president, their wild ideas became reality. How did a quirky comedy nail these correctly? The writer's strange knack for foresight has turned these moments into pop culture legends.
Oh, let me stop it. All right. Okay, now, Simpsons predict the future over the years. Like, they're one of the few TV shows that tell the truth. There's 3 of them that I know of told the truth about things. It was STEM, South Park, and a show that no longer exists anymore called The Boondocks. It's a shame they got canceled. I wish they kept it going, because that'd be real huge. I know one of the actors from that show are dead also. But still, they could have found another voice actor. Where you getting at, Daniel? I ain't heard no news, but it's good to see you again, Daniel. Those are 3 shows who told the truth about things. But this one, they predicted the future. But let's carry on.
Join us as we explore the top 20 Simpsons predictions that came true. Don Mattingly's hair. When fans chat about the best Simpsons episodes, 1992's Homer at the Bat often tops the list. It's packed with hilarious moments, including one about baseball star Don Mattingly.
Don Mattingly was the best player in the American League and best hitter in all of baseball.
In the episode, Mr. Burns keeps demanding Mattingly shave his sideburns, except Mattingly doesn't have any. This bizarre joke actually mirrored real life, as in 1991, Mattingly had a standoff with the New York Yankees over his refusal to cut his hair. The episode aired after this drama, but its recording happened before the incident. Art imitating life, or life imitating The Simpsons.
Ooh.
Either way, it's a classic moment. What comes next on this list? Keep watching to find out. Trump's election victory.
Yeah.
In a 2000 Simpsons episode, Bart gets a glimpse of his future while at a Native American casino. In this vision, he's a 40-year-old slacker living with Ralph Wiggum, while his sister Lisa is president of the United States. In a memorable scene, Lisa discusses inheriting a budget crisis from President Trump. Fast forward to 2016, and the unthinkable happened. Trump became president. The show had predicted...
Okay, now let me stop right there. If somebody was to say that back then, that he had become president, somebody said that back in 1990 or whatever, and we got this and that, we got these YouTubers like becoming famous, beating Mike Tyson in the fight, then people call that BS. It'd be unimaginable back then. But now it's the new millennium. Like anything goes, anything is happening. So it's whatever. Yes, it was. That was supposed to be a joke. I wonder how did that come to fruition. I hear friends of mine who are mega who says, know what? He probably didn't want to become president. He's one of those people that want to fix things. Because truth be told, like he was flip-flopping through parties back and forth. Said he didn't say he had to become a Republican. But this and that and all that shit. That's certain so-called people who used to call themselves independents had to choose a party for the good of the people. Said they had to choose a party for the good of the people, for the future and all that shit. They can't sit by and be independent, become president, because it wasn't gonna happen. But actually, with him becoming president, you know what? He couldn't have did it anyways. He really wasn't supposed to be, because he's not really part of that good old boys club. He's not part of the good old boys club. All right, Angie. Like, you have to be part of that club, and then you have to came from the bloodline from the founding fathers or the originals. So the president. So I don't know where to start. Like maybe the ones that came in the 80s or whatever, or the 90s or the 2000s or whatever. You have to come from a bloodline of the original presidents to become president. So that brings me to Barack Obama. I know he's biracial. People will ask themselves, how did he get into this? people claim that he's related to George W. Bush, their cousins or whatever, or George W. Bush's his uncle or whatever they said. Well, if that's the truth, well, you can say that both of them are related to Thomas Jefferson, because remember that biracial girlfriend he had or whatever, a white, had a kid with her. So that's got to explain some shit. Then Obama's daddy is black and his mom is white Irish shit. Got family members from Kenya, whatever. So that explains Obama why he's part of the good old boys club. Now Trump, how he got into it, obvious, plain and simple. He bought his way into that son of a bitch. So with him buying his way into it, in the future, hopefully no time soon in the coming years, it don't be no more of them. But I got a good feeling it's gonna be. Like I know for without a shadow of a doubt, it's gonna be another Bush, hell or high water. So brace yourselves for that. And then those Bushes like to start shit. I'm glad I'm in my middle ages, pushing 40. I'm too old to fight in the war. So my better days have passed me. Even if they reinstate the draft, I wouldn't qualify. I'm too old for this. I'm beaten down, especially working the last job that I had before I went to my current job. So, yeah, but let's carry on.
Did it 16 years earlier.
16 years ago, The Simpsons eerily predicted Donald Trump would be president.
After Trump's election, The Simpsons even added a chalkboard gag that said, "Being right sucks." Could they have known? Looks like they did. The Titan disaster. In 2023, the Titan submersible tragedy only proved a Simpsons storyline from years earlier. In the episode, Homer embarks on an underwater adventure to find his real father, Mason Fairbanks. Their submersible becomes trapped as they search for treasure, and Homer faces the terrifying loss of oxygen. Fast forward to the Titan disaster. OceanGate's submersible went on a similar mission to view the Titanic wreck. After losing contact, the sub imploded, tragically killing all 5 passengers.
Yeah, that was
the parallels between the two incidents
that.
left
They
many
didn't even
people
have to
reflecting
call
on
that.
The Simpsons' uncanny predictions of real-world events.
That could
The
have been
Simpsons
talked.
from
They had
17
on
years
that.
ago seemed to predict the tragedy.
USA wins gold in curling.
All right, let me stop it. Right? All right, back to that submarine thing. Yeah, when that happened, that could have been avoided. They weren't obligated to go on that damn trip. Then something similar happened, except it had way more victims than that 5. Like it was some minorities on a big ass war. It was like over 70,000 motherfuckers who died on. And that boat crash or whatever last summer. I know Willie D, the rapper from Ghetto Boys, he talked about it. And he said that's bullshit that they ain't getting no recognition. There, what he had to say, like, motherfuckers was probably complaining to him, or probably, yeah, they was, or probably was, said, why you gotta make this thing about race? He says, know what? It ain't me. He says, it ain't me. It ain't us. It's y'all by ignoring them. They deserve recognition too, huh? And plus, but yeah. Enough about that. Let's go on with this.
In a Simpsons episode, Marge and Homer get into curling by accident when Agnes Skinner spots Marge's sweeping skills. They join forces with Agnes and Seymour, eventually representing the USA at the Winter Olympics in Vancouver. The team faces off against Sweden in the gold medal match, clinching victory in a hilarious moment. Fast forward to the 2018 Pyeongchang Olympics, and the real USA curling team won gold against Sweden, just like The Simpsons predicted.
Marge and Homer Simpson are depicted on the U.S. Olympic curling team, and they take home the gold, just like the U.S. men's curling team did.
Now, if the Simpson family had a battle royale, who would win? Lisa, Marge, Uncle Herb, or someone else? Game of Thrones. What's the deal with The Simpsons and predicting TV history? In 2017, they parodied Game of Thrones with an episode called The Surf Sons, where Homer revives a dragon. Chaos starts as the dragon goes on a rampage, setting the town on fire. Fast forward to 2019, and Daenerys Targaryen pulls a similar heel turn in Game of Thrones, unleashing her dragon, Drogon, to burn King's Landing to the ground in a controversial scene. Was it just coincidence? Or did a Game of Thrones writer take notes from The Simpsons? Either way, the similarities are uncanny. Eating irradiated fish. The Simpsons has a knack for predicting strange moments in real life. In a 1990 episode, Mr. Burns, always up to no good, faces a scandal after Bart discovers a three-eyed fish near his nuclear plant. Burns runs for office to save his plant and ends up trying to eat the very fish in front of reporters, only to fail miserably. Fast forward to 2023, and Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida did something eerily similar. He ate a fish caught near Fukushima to prove the safety of treated nuclear wastewater. It's almost like The Simpsons knew what was coming. Cypress Hill and the London Symphony Orchestra. Imagine a world where hip-hop meets classical music. Sounds wild, right? But The Simpsons predicted it in 1996 with the episode Homerpalooza. In a hilarious moment, Cypress Hill decides to team up with the London Symphony Orchestra for a performance, blending their hit Insane in the Brain with classical sounds. Fast forward to 2024, and Cypress Hill did exactly that.
I didn't listen to
After
it.
performing with classical groups in the US, they announced a concert at the Royal Albert Hall in London with the London Symphony Orchestra. Looks like Homer and his friends weren't the only ones ahead of their time. Good father. What if The Simpsons had the power to fix Hollywood's biggest missteps? In 2001, the show took a playful jab at The Godfather Part 3, calling it the bad version in their worst episode ever. Bart and Milhouse find a bootleg copy in Comic Book Guy's secret vault, humorously dubbing it the good version. Fast forward to 2020, and Paramount answered with The Godfather Coda, The Death of Michael Corleone, a recut version of the 1990 film that received praise from director Francis Ford Coppola and star Al Pacino. Looks like The Simpsons might have been onto something after all. Late Beatle post. Imagine sending a drawing to your idol and never hearing back. Sounds like a heartbreak, right? That's exactly what happened to Marge in the 1991 Simpsons episode Brush with Greatness. After sending a portrait of Ringo Starr to the drummer, she gets no reply, leaving her artistic passion in doubt. But nearly 20 years later, Ringo surprises her with a heartfelt thank you note. In real life, a similar story unfolded in 2013. A 1963 message to the Beatles, lost for years, finally reached Paul McCartney, who responded with a warm thank you to the fans. Art really does come full circle. The next on this list will keep you wondering how The Simpsons does it. Noble bet, predicting the winners of the Nobel Prize. Predicting the Nobel Prize winners sounds like a long shot, but The Simpsons might just have a crystal ball. In the 2010 episode Elementary School Musical, the kids are glued to the Nobel Prize announcements. Martin celebrates after picking the winner in economics, and we spot Milhouse choosing Bengt R. Holmstrom. Fast forward to 2016, and Milhouse's pick turns out to be spot on. Holmstrom, along with Oliver Hart, wins the Nobel Memorial Prize in Economic Sciences for their work in contract theory. Could it be that Milhouse has some secret Nobel insight? Maybe The Simpsons knows more than we think. Gaga attack. In 2012, The Simpsons aired an episode called Lisa Goes Gaga, where Lady Gaga arrives in Springfield to lift the town's spirits. In a memorable scene, she performs in a flaming bra and flies around the stage, soaring through the air with cables. Fast forward, Gaga's performance mysteriously mirrors the Simpsons scene. She takes the stage wearing a silver costume and boots, then descends from the top of the stadium using cables. Was it a coincidence? Or did Gaga take inspiration from Springfield? Horsemeat meal. In a bizarre turn of events, Europe was rocked by a horsemeat scandal.
The horsemeat scandal started in Ireland and the United Kingdom in January, but has since spread all around the EU,
with beef products secretly containing horsemeat. Going back to 1994, The Simpsons made a chillingly accurate joke in the episode Sweet Seymour Skinner's Badass Song. While Santa's little helper is in the school cafeteria, the lunch lady Doris is seen preparing a stew with a big container of horse meat nearby, highlighting the extra intimate pieces for more iron. The show's writers were way ahead of their time, predicting the scandal years before it became a major international controversy. Talk about food for thought. Richard Branson in space. In an episode about art forgery, The Simpsons made a brief but bizarrely prophetic nod to space travel. While Homer and Lisa search for the truth about a priceless painting, there's a quick cutaway to Richard Branson on a spacecraft. This came 7 years before Branson actually launched into space with Virgin Galactic. The scene isn't the focus of the episode, but it's hard to ignore how The Simpsons seemed to predict his spaceflight years before it happened. A quick, unexpected moment that feels like a glimpse into the future. Canadian Reeferino. Imagine crossing the border for cheaper medication, only to get caught in a bizarre situation involving marijuana. In a Simpsons episode, Homer and his friends head to Canada for cheaper pills, but things take a wild turn when Ned meets his Canadian lookalike, who offers him a legal referro, a playful jab at marijuana. At the time, Canada hadn't legalized it yet, but fast forward to 2018, and the country passed the Cannabis Act, making marijuana legal for medical and recreational use. Looks like The Simpsons saw the future of Canadian cannabis long before it became law. Faulty voting machine.
Before they even talked about it.
Picture this. You step into a voting booth, ready to cast your vote, but something's off. In a Simpsons Halloween opening, Homer faces a faulty voting machine that keeps registering his vote for John McCain, even though he selects Barack Obama. The machine ends up sucking Homer in, and he cries out, "This machine is rigged." Fast forward to the 2012 US election, and footage surfaces of a voter experiencing the same issue, trying to vote for Obama, but the machine keeps selecting Mitt Romney. A strange reference of The Simpsons that leaves you wondering, did they see this coming? Tiger attack. What's the worst thing that can happen when a tiger takes the stage? In The Simpsons, Springfield's economy boosts with a casino and a magic act featuring a white tiger named Anastasia, but during the show, Anastasia has a flashback, triggering a violent attack on the magicians, Gunther and Ernst. The duo was clearly inspired by the famous Siegfried and Roy, known for their tiger performances. Just 10 years after this episode aired, Roy was attacked by a tiger during a live performance in Las Vegas.
Behind Siegfried and Roy's famous tiger shows were workers like Chris Lawrence, putting in long hours to make those illusions seem like magic.
Luckily, he survived, but the incident ended his career. Talk about a real-life plot twist. Stay tuned to know which prediction comes next. NSA spying. Homer's mishap with the EPA leads to Springfield being trapped under a dome, and the Simpson family ends up on the run in Alaska. While escaping, they realize the NSA is secretly spying on citizens, listening to all their communications. Fast forward to 2013, and Edward Snowden blows the whistle, revealing the NSA's surveillance programs. The Simpsons predicted this government overreach years before, showing how the show often gets ahead of real-world events with a mix of humor and uncanny accuracy. Smartwatches and video calling. In The Simpsons' Lisa's wedding episode, the future looked a lot familiar. Lisa, through a mysterious fortune teller's vision, sees herself in the year 2010, falling in love with Hugh. What stands out, though, is how communication has evolved. Lisa video calls Marge, but Marge, forgetting she's on camera, hilariously fumbles with the new tech. Earlier, Hugh proposes to Lisa using a smartwatch, years before these devices would become mainstream. The episode aired in 1995, yet it predicted the rise of video calls and smartwatches, gadgets that became common in the 2010s. Seems like The Simpsons might have had a peek into the future. Disney buys Fox. In a hilarious twist of fate, Homer stumbles upon the vacation home of Kim Basinger and Alec Baldwin while paragliding, forging an unlikely friendship. He pitches a screenplay about a killer robot driving instructor to Baldwin and Ron Howard, only for Howard to pitch it to Brian Grazer at 20th Century Fox. In a clever gag, an establishing shot reveals Fox as a division of Walt Disney Company fast forward to 2019, and Disney actually buys Fox, becoming the owner of The Simpsons. The show's foresight once again proves uncanny, predicting a corporate merger years in advance. Higgs boson particle. Homer, feeling unaccomplished, gets inspired by Thomas Edison and tries to invent his own creations. In a funny scene, he scribbles on a chalkboard, unknowingly solving an equation that predicts the mass of the Higgs boson particle, a discovery that wouldn't happen until 14 years later. The equation, just slightly off from the actual measurement, is a fun premonition of the particle's discovery. This bizarre moment highlights how The Simpsons continues to blend humor and science, predicting groundbreaking events long before they occur. And now, it seems the weight of the royal family's challenges has taken a toll on his wife.
They let the royal family shit, the UK shit, drag on for so long. King Charles, Prince Charles, Diana, and all them motherfuckers. For the rest of this video, they let that shit drag on. So I'm stopping from there. Ain't nothing Simpsons related, predicted relations anymore. So you know what? I stopped it. Stop it from there. So yeah, that shit got born. So it got lean right there real quickly. Yeah? Let me look at something else. Or find something else. So look like ain't nobody else in the house. You can stop it right there. I don't know who the hell else. Well, there's some more people coming up doing their thing and all that shit. It's only a few of us. Huh?
I'll go over the station and I'll meet you there. Yeah, that's fine. Do it. Yeah. Well, we'll all meet over there and we'll have a nice family talk. That'll be good. All right, I'll see you there.
Yeah, I'm contacting some people right now, speaking with them. So be patient with me. I know I ain't got no sounds playing. I had to stop that video right there to put. For those of you that's coming in, they're just going to let this shit from the UK call out the kings and queens like Charles and Diana and all that. They let this shit drag on for so long. Look like they got off topic with the predictions. Huh? We all know what happened in case you follow what happens in the UK. So I don't want to hear about it. So I'm letting it go away from there. So, okay, what else can I find for us to look at? Any suggestions? Hold up. I feel like I got to sneeze, damn it. Hold up. Damn. Oh, motherfucker. That was just son of a bitch. Ah! Let me mute that. That sounds annoying. Okay, I'm back now. But yeah, I'm trying to find another watch along. Unless somebody wants to talk it. Ain't nothing else worth looking at it I can find thus far. Ain't nothing else worth it. Now let me go right here. Damn it.
If he comes and stays with me on weekends, once in a while, he'll crash on the floor and we find the rings. He'll give you out of your hand for a bit.
Ain't nothing less worth finding. Okay. Maybe I could find something. I don't know. Hold up. I can't have it.
Well, here we are. One big happy family.
Damn it. I had something that was worth watching, doing a watch along with, but I can't seem to find it.
Now don't worry, there's a whole world of dark stuff out there.
Shit. It was in my fucking watch history. But I think it was just in my, I'm looking at my likes. Oh, I found it. Here you go. But you know what? Folks, I gotta take a piss break, so I'll be right back with this. Damn it, stop moving. I hate when modern technology moves slow. I always gotta fuck up shit.
In tonight's Fact or Fiction, we are looking into
no. Looks like one of people of you.
Just slightly off from the actual
measure.
measure.
That damn slow. No, I gotta take a piss break any fucking way. I'll be right back.
Videos on social media. Those videos claiming to instantly get rid of bags under your eyes. It's called Plexiderm, and lifestyle expert Annette Figueroa is here to tell us why she says this one is for real. I'm so excited, and I did this to my father. We were at home. I had the time on, and we were screaming 4 minutes 34 seconds, completely gone. And not only does it work on the bags, it works on the appearance, toes, feet, fine lines, and wrinkles.
This Valentine's Day is the best time to try Plexiderm with our starter price of only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Your solution is at plexidermtrial.com or call the number on your screen.
With kids still at home,
All right, I'm back again. Should I found that video, but they fucked it up for me. Fucking idiots. Yeah, I found that video. The next watch along we can do. Just lost again. I just need to find it here. Oh, here we go. Okay.
You are already familiar with Hitler, Stalin, Mao, and other famous evil people in history. This list isn't about them. These are the 25 most evil people in history you've probably never heard of. And buckle up, because as we get to number 25, each will get more and more evil. You ready? Let's go. Thomas de Torquemada, 1420 to 1498, the terror of the Spanish Inquisition. Torquemada's name became synonymous with religious fanaticism and cruelty. As the Grand Inquisitor, he was responsible for the persecution of tens of thousands of conversos, Jews and Muslims who had converted to Christianity, but were suspected of secretly practicing their original faith. Thomas de Torquemada's reign of terror used fear and torture to extract confessions, often from innocent people. The auto de fe, or public burning at the stake, became a spectacle of horror where victims, having endured grotesque torture, were emulated in front of crowds. His network of spies created a culture of paranoia where even a slight misstep could result in being dragged to the dungeons. Though historians estimate that over 2,000 people were executed during his tenure, the psychological terror and cultural destruction he imposed lasted for centuries.
All right. Next person.
Ante Pavelic, 1889 to 1959. Pavelic, the fascist leader of the Ustash regime in Croatia during World War II, led one of the most savage and fanatical regimes in Axis-controlled Europe. His anti-Serb policies reached genocidal proportions, with hundreds of thousands of Serbs, along with Jews and Romani, tortured and killed in ways that shocked even Nazi officers. In the concentration camp of Jasenovac, often called the Auschwitz of the Balkans, victims were subjected to unspeakable horrors. Guards would hold competitions to see who could decapitate the most prisoners with crude knives. Entire families were wiped out, children were thrown alive into furnaces, and bodies were mutilated beyond recognition. Pavelic's sadism extended beyond genocide. His personal cruelty was legendary, with rumors suggesting he enjoyed dining in rooms adorned with the eyes of his victims. His regime's actions remain a dark stain on the history of the Balkans. Jean Bedel Bokassa, 1921 to 1996. Bokassa, who declared himself Emperor of the Central African Republic in 1977, turned his country into a personal playground of cruelty. His coronation, a grotesque imitation of Napoleon's, cost millions while his people starved. Bokassa's rule was marked by the arbitrary execution of anyone who opposed him, with his secret police torturing opponents in brutal fashion. He infamously rounded up school children who protested against wearing expensive uniforms and had dozens of them executed. Allegations of cannibalism persisted throughout his reign. Some witnesses claimed he had prisoners cooked and served at state banquets. His megalomania knew no bounds, and his cruelty was only rivaled by his delusions of grandeur. Leopoldo Galtieri, 1926 to 2003. Galtieri was a key figure in Argentina's military junta during the Dirty War, 1976 to 1983, a period of state terrorism against suspected dissidents. Under his command, the regime was responsible for the disappearance of up to 30,000 people. Victims were kidnapped, tortured, and often never seen again. Pregnant women were kept alive until they gave birth. Then their children were taken by military families while the mothers were murdered. The methods of torture used by Galtieri's secret police were particularly grotesque. Electrocution, mock executions, and sexual violence were commonplace. The infamous death flight saw political prisoners drugged and thrown alive into the Atlantic Ocean. Galtieri's rule was so brutal that many survivors still suffer psychological trauma decades later.
Shoot, now that's believable right there.
Queen Rana Bologna, the first of Madagascar, 1778 to 1861.
Oh yeah, I got
Rana Bologna the first ruled Madagascar with an iron fist.
You know what? That's motherfucking so-called Americans when they came here and tried to fuck with her, try to take her in, try to illegally take her in and try to make her into a slave. Oh, that would have been the original fuck around and find out. I bet those white plantation owners and those Uncle Ruckuses would have never messed with her if they came over there after and tried to take her and her people over to the U.S. and make them the slaves. But yeah, that's just a random thought. But let's carry on.
Enforcing policies that led to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of her subjects. She rejected European influence and sought to preserve her kingdom's traditions, but did so through ruthless means. She reinstated the Tangina ordeal, a trial by poison which killed thousands. Her armies carried out massacres, particularly against Christian converts and European settlers. Forced labor projects like the building of her capital's palace resulted in massive death tolls from starvation, exhaustion, and disease. Her isolationist policies led to widespread famine as she refused to engage in trade with neighboring nations. By the time of her death, Madagascar's population had halved, earning her a legacy of terror unmatched in the island's history. Enver Pasha,
Who this?
1881 to 1922. Enver Pasha, a central figure in the Ottoman Empire during World War I, was one of the masterminds behind the Armenian genocide.
Good to see you again.
His fervent nationalism led to the mass extermination of 1.5 million Armenians. Under his orders, Armenians were forced from their homes and marched into the desert with no provisions, where many died of starvation, thirst, and disease. The Ottoman military executed thousands more through mass shootings, drowning, and burning. Enver Pasha also directed the massacre of Greeks and Assyrians in similar campaigns of ethnic cleansing.
Likewise.
His brutal policies aimed at creating a homogeneous Turkish state devastated ancient communities and left scars that are still felt today.
I know what you mean. No worries.
Yakubu Gowon, 1934. Gowon led Nigeria during the Biafran War, 1967 to 1970, one of the deadliest civil conflicts of the 20th century. His government's blockade of Biafra led to widespread famine, with over 1 million people, mostly children, dying of starvation.
Oh, yeah.
Despite international outcry, Gowon refused to lift the blockade, using hunger as a weapon of war.
Yeah.
The conflict was marked by gross human rights violations, including the massacre of civilians, the use of child soldiers, and the bombing of refugee camps. Images of emaciated children with swollen bellies became a symbol of the suffering inflicted during the war, a legacy that Gowon's administration has never fully reckoned with.
Let's see what this
Lavrentiy Beria, 1899 to 1953. Lavrentiy Beria, Stalin's right-hand man and head of the NKVD, was one of the most feared men in Soviet Russia. He oversaw the mass purges that saw millions executed or sent to the gulags. His personal sadism was legendary. Beria was known to abduct young women, rape them, and then have them killed. Under his leadership, the NKVD became a brutal apparatus of state terror, where no one was safe from arrest or execution. Beria also orchestrated mass deportations of ethnic groups, such as the Chechens and Crimean Tatars, many of whom died en route to remote Siberian camps. Even after Stalin's death, Beria's legacy of cruelty lived on until he was executed by his fellow Politburo members. King Leopold of Naples and Sicily, 1751 to 1825. Leopold, who ruled Naples and Sicily, was known for his role in the White Terror following the defeat of Napoleon. During this period, his forces carried out a brutal crackdown on liberals, Republicans, and anyone suspected of harboring revolutionary sympathies.
Yeah, he hated both of them.
Mass executions, torture, and forced disappearances became tools of state repression. Thousands were killed and many more imprisoned without trial. His regime was infamous for its secret police, who spied on citizens and arrested them on the slightest suspicion. Despite his absolutist rule, he was an ally of conservative monarchies across Europe, helping to suppress any attempts at democratic reform. Fotis Sanko, 1937 to 2003. Fotis Sanko led the Revolutionary United Front, RUF, in Sierra Leone, a group notorious for its extreme brutality during the Sierra Leone Civil War. Sanko's forces became infamous for their use of child soldiers, many of whom were forced to commit atrocities while under the influence of drugs. The RUF's most horrifying tactic was the systematic mutilation of civilians, cutting off hands, arms, and legs to terrorize the population. Villages were burned, women were raped, and children were abducted. Sanko used blood diamonds to finance his war, prolonging the conflict and leaving tens of thousands dead. His legacy of brutality and destruction haunts Sierra Leone to this day. Rafael Trujillo, 1891 to 1961. Trujillo's dictatorship in the Dominican Republic was characterized by extreme repression and a cult of personality that glorified him as the benefactor of the nation. His most infamous act was the 1937 Parsley Massacre, where Dominican soldiers massacred up to 20,000 Haitian immigrants in the border region. Victims were identified by their inability to pronounce the Spanish word for parsley, perejil, correctly. Trujillo's regime also operated an extensive network of spies and informants who reported on any dissent, leading to thousands of disappearances, torture, and extrajudicial killings. His secret police, known for their cruelty, created an atmosphere of fear that lasted for decades. François Papadoc Duvalier, 1907 to 1971. Papa Doc ruled Haiti with a terrifying mix of political repression and voodoo mysticism. His secret police, the Tonton Macoute, were responsible for thousands of deaths, with victims often being brutally tortured before being executed. Papa Doc used fear and superstition to maintain his grip on power, claiming to be an incarnation of the voodoo spirit Baron Samedi. The Tonton Macoute, dressed in sunglasses and straw hats, were given free rein to murder anyone they deemed a threat to Duvalier's rule. Public executions and bodies left to rot in the streets served as a constant reminder of his control. Papa Doc's policies also plunged Haiti into economic ruin, while he and his cronies amassed vast personal fortunes. His regime killed an estimated 30,000 people, and the terror he inflicted on his countrymen reverberated even after his death, as his son, Jean-Claude Baby Doc Duvalier, continued his father's oppressive legacy. Maximilien Robespierre, 1758 to 1794. Robespierre, a leading figure in the French Revolution, was initially a champion of liberty and equality, but became the architect of the Reign of Terror. During his time as the head of the Committee of Public Safety, he presided over the mass executions of anyone deemed an enemy of the revolution. Tens of thousands were sent to the guillotine, including former allies and even common citizens, falsely accused of counter-revolutionary activities. The atmosphere of fear and paranoia gripped France, with people denouncing neighbors to save themselves. Robespierre justified the bloodshed as necessary for the preservation of the revolution, but his insatiable thirst for purging perceived threats eventually led to his downfall. Ironically, he met his own end at the guillotine in 1794, but not before leaving a trail of blood in his wake. Chu Ryong-hae, 1950.
The guy still
Chu
alive?
Ryong-hae is one of the most powerful men in North Korea under the Kim dynasty, and is often seen as the enforcer of Kim Jong-un's brutal rule. As the second most powerful official in North Korea, Cho has overseen some of the regime's most oppressive policies. He is responsible for managing the vast network of labor camps, where an estimated 100,000 people are imprisoned under inhumane conditions. Torture, starvation, and executions are common in these camps, where entire families, including children, are imprisoned for the political crimes of one member. Choi has also been involved in purges of high-ranking officials, some of whom were executed by anti-aircraft guns or flamethrowers. Under his watch, North Korea has maintained its brutal control over its population, using fear, hunger, and violence to suppress dissent. Henri Désiré Landru, 1869 to 1922. Henri Désiré Landru, often dubbed the Bluebeard of Gambais, was a notorious French serial killer known for his cold calculation and ruthless schemes. During and after World War I, Landru preyed on wealthy widows, posing as a suitor who offered love and security. Once he gained their trust, he would lure them to his secluded villa, where he would take their money and end their lives. Landru meticulously recorded each victim's name and finances in his notebook, which eventually became the key evidence leading to his conviction. Authorities linked him to the disappearances of at least 11 women, although it is suspected the real number could be higher. His composed and unrepentant demeanor during his trial fascinated and horrified the public. Mobutu Sese Seko, 1930 to 1997. Mobutu ruled the Democratic Republic of the Congo, then Zaire, with a mix of corruption, violence, and manipulation for over 3 decades. His kleptocratic regime siphoned off billions of dollars while his country descended into poverty and chaos. Mobutu maintained power through brutal repression, using his secret police to crush opposition and imprison or execute anyone who dared to challenge him. He fostered a cult of personality, renaming the country Zaire and demanding loyalty to his authentic African vision, all while living a lavish lifestyle in palaces filled with gold and luxury items. His rule plunged the country into economic collapse, leaving millions in abject poverty while he personally enriched himself. His regime's brutality and greed left the Congo devastated and ripe for the conflicts that followed his downfall. Shiro Ishii, 1892 to 1959. Shiro Ishii was the head of Japan's notorious Unit 731 during World War II, a secret biological warfare unit that conducted horrific human experimentation. Ishii's unit carried out some of the most grotesque war crimes in history, testing biological weapons on living prisoners, many of whom were Chinese civilians. Subjects were deliberately infected with deadly diseases like the plague and cholera to observe the effects, with some prisoners dissected alive without anesthesia to study the progression of infections. Others were frozen to study the effects of frostbite or subjected to chemical attacks. Unit 731's experiments killed thousands, and the horrors committed by Ishii and his team remain one of the darkest chapters in Japanese history. Despite his crimes, Ishii was never prosecuted, as the U.S. government granted him immunity in exchange for data from his experiments. Radovan Karadzic, 1945. Radovan Karadzic was the political leader of the Bosnian Serbs during the Yugoslav wars of the 1990s, responsible for some of the worst atrocities in Europe since World War II. Under his leadership, Bosnian Serb forces carried out ethnic cleansing campaigns against Bosnian Muslims and Croats, leading to mass killings, deportations, and the destruction of entire communities. The most infamous of these atrocities was the Srebrenica massacre in 1995, where over 8,000 Muslim men and boys were systematically executed by Bosnian Serb forces. Karadzic also oversaw the brutal siege of Sarajevo, where civilians were bombarded, starved, and killed in sniper attacks. After years on the run, Karadzic was captured and convicted of war crimes, including genocide, by the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia. Hissène Habré, 1942 to 2021. Hissène Habré ruled Chad from 1982 to 1990 and earned a reputation as one of Africa's most brutal dictators. During his reign, Habré's government carried out mass killings, torture, and political repression. An estimated 40,000 people were killed under his rule, and tens of thousands more were imprisoned and tortured. Habré's secret police, the Documentation and Security Directorate, DDS, were notorious for their cruelty, using electric shocks, beatings, and waterboarding on prisoners. Women were raped and abused in custody, and many prisoners died from the brutal conditions. Habré's regime targeted ethnic groups he perceived as threats, particularly the Sara and Zagawa, with entire communities subjected to systematic violence. After being overthrown, Habré was convicted of war crimes and crimes against humanity, marking one of the few instances of an African dictator being held accountable for his atrocities. Augusto Pinochet, 1915 to 2006. Pinochet led a military coup in Chile in 1973, overthrowing the democratically elected government of Salvador Allende. He then established a military dictatorship that lasted for 17 years, marked by extreme political repression, torture, and mass executions. Pinochet's regime targeted leftists, intellectuals, and anyone suspected of opposing his rule. Thousands were disappeared, tortured, or executed during his reign. Victims were often subjected to electric shocks, mock executions, and sexual violence. Pinochet's secret police, the DINA, operated with impunity, and his regime's brutality became notorious across the world. Though he later stepped down from power, Pinochet's legacy of fear and repression left deep scars on Chilean society. Vlad the Impaler, 1431 to 1476. Vlad III, known as Vlad the Impaler, ruled Wallachia with a level of cruelty that became the stuff of legend. His preferred method of execution, impalement, was both grotesque and effective in spreading terror. He impaled thousands of enemies on stakes, leaving their bodies to rot in fields as a warning to others. Some accounts describe forests of impaled bodies surrounding his castles. Vlad's sadism extended beyond military campaigns. He reportedly enjoyed watching his victims suffering and devised other torturous methods, including boiling people alive or skinning them. While some view him as a defender against the Ottoman Empire, his extreme brutality earned him a reputation as one of history's most sadistic rulers. The stories of his cruelty inspired the legend of Dracula.
I bet it did.
Pol Pot, 1925 to 1998. Pol Pot, leader of the Khmer Rouge, oversaw one of the most horrific genocides of the 20th century. His regime sought to create an agrarian utopia in Cambodia, but his policies resulted in the deaths of up to 2 million people, about a quarter of the population. Intellectuals, professionals, religious figures, and ethnic minorities were targeted in mass purges. People were forced into labor camps, where they worked under brutal conditions, often dying from starvation, disease, or execution. The infamous killing fields became a symbol of the Khmer Rouge's brutality, with mass graves holding the bodies of those who perished under Pol Pot's rule. His utopian vision led to the systematic destruction of Cambodia's society and left a legacy of trauma that still haunts the country. Leopold II of Belgium, 1835 to 1909. Leopold II, the King of Belgium, personally owned the Congo Free State and turned it into a massive forced labor camp to extract rubber and ivory. His rule led to the deaths of an estimated 10 million Congolese. Leopold's private army brutally enforced quotas on the local population, cutting off the hands of those who didn't meet the rubber extraction demands. Villages were burned, women were raped, and countless people were killed in his ruthless pursuit of profit. Leopold's regime used terror, mutilation, and murder to exploit the Congolese people, all while presenting himself to the world as a humanitarian. The atrocities committed under his rule are considered one of the darkest chapters of European colonialism, and despite international outcry, Leopold managed to maintain control of the Congo until global pressure finally forced him to relinquish it to the Belgian government. His legacy remains one of greed-driven brutality on an unprecedented scale.
It's almost finished. Got 2 more.
Charles Taylor, 1948. Charles Taylor was the Liberian warlord and president whose leadership in the First Liberian Civil War, 1989 to 1997, plunged his country into chaos and resulted in the deaths of approximately 250,000 people. Taylor's forces were notorious for their brutality, enlisting child soldiers and forcing them to commit horrific acts under the influence of drugs. His troops used tactics of terror, such as dismembering civilians and employing small boys units, child soldiers trained to kill without remorse. Taylor was also heavily involved in the Sierra Leone Civil War, where he supported the Revolutionary United Front, RUF, and their infamous campaign of mass amputations, rape, and murder in exchange for blood diamonds. He was eventually convicted of war crimes and crimes against humanity, but the scars left by his reign of terror in West Africa remain deep and painful.
Last one.
Vidkun Quisling, 1887 to 1945. Vidkun Quisling, a Norwegian fascist leader, became infamous as a traitor during World War II. After Nazi Germany invaded Norway in 1940, Quisling, a fervent supporter of Adolf Hitler, seized power in a coup and collaborated with the Nazis throughout the occupation.
I wonder did Tarantino get that idea to base him off of what's his face? The guy who played by Christopher Waltz. Because hey Barbie girl, good to see you, baby. How you? I know you've been sick like me, but I'm getting better. I didn't even know that you had a YouTube channel. Never knew you was on here. Yeah, just here to create playlist. Well, playlist, but that's good to see you. But anyways, I wanted Crystal Waltz get the idea to create this character from Inglourious Bastards. Well, now this ain't the character, it's the one that Chris Waltz played, like I said. Because he studies shit before he creates it. Tarantino study shit before he creates it. Makes a movie out of it. So, because it was a guy that was linked or allied with Hitler and part of his army in that movie Inglourious Bastards with fucking Brad Pitt in there. Because he was the main villain. Then, you know, in that movie, you saw he recreated the ending to World War II, huh? In my belief, I wish that's how it should have ended. Just like that. Blowing their ass up and lighting them up, But that guy, he was still left alive, with Brad Pitt carving that Nazi sign on his forehead. Said, I know you're gonna take that suit off at some point, so I'm gonna give you something that you ain't gonna take off, that you gotta wear for the rest of your life. That shit sucks it for him, at least. Yeah, but I'm just wondering, did he get the inspiration from this guy? But anyways,
under Quisling's rule, thousands of Norwegians were arrested, tortured, and executed, particularly those involved in the resistance movement. He enthusiastically helped the Nazis deport Norway's Jewish population to concentration camps, where most perished. Quisling's name has since become synonymous with treachery and collaboration with occupying forces. After the war, he was tried and executed for war crimes, but his betrayal of his own country left an indelible mark on Norwegian history. Thank you for watching. It's important to learn about these historical evil people, so we as a society don't allow more to come into power. Please like and subscribe. I read and enjoyed all your comments. Have a great day.
There's something else I want to look at. All right, back to the solo, man. I'm gonna search something else for us to look at. Since ain't nobody up here with me talking, I'm doing a watch along. I might keep doing a watch along this with somebody up here with me, but so I can hear their feedback, so to speak. You know what? All right, it's something that caught my attention. I met the shit. I told my mom and her husband about this. I might as well send that video to them one of these days so I can hear their feedback. When I told them about it, they said it's not but conspiracies. And they're religious people, so. Okay. I'm trying to look for it. No shorts or nothing. Trying to look for it, so give me a break, people. Be patient. Google Chrome is slow, so yeah. Shit, I can't even fucking find it. Yes, Barbie, I know, huh? That's why I can't stand Google Chrome, man. No, maybe I should just type this, huh? Cause this. Okay. Think I found it now. It's more than that. This is 12 minutes. I'm pause and give my input on certain
What is my
things.
view on hell?
I think it's bullshit.
Well, it is a place that you do not want to go to.
Well, I'm stopping right there and saying, what's my take and my input on hell? You know what? a part of me says it doesn't exist. But a plot twist. But as far as a plot twist to me says, we're already in it. There is no hell in the afterlife. That's what I believe it. But I've seen people make videos talk about their experience, near-death experience, or their temporary deaths. And I hear different stories. So like they went to heaven, they seen this person, that person, but another person said they seen those same people they was talking about in hell. You can't have both stories. There are two stories, or more than one stories, but only one of them is true. So I just say they was just having a dream, or having a nightmare, so to speak. But shoot, let's carry on.
As a matter of fact, you would not even wish this eternal punishment on your worst enemy. How would I know this? Let's just say that a bad dream, one college night, turned into a horrifying experience. You may say that I was merely hallucinating, and I thought the same thing at first. But then I noticed that I woke up with my heart pounding. I was so frightened that I put my covers over my head, and I was not able to move for what felt like an hour. This has never happened to me as a result of a bad dream. These effects confirmed to me that what I experienced was real. If it was not real, I would not be even writing this experience down. Trust me, I am merely trying to warn you of a very real and very present afterlife. Sit back and listen as I try to inform you of this tormenting experience. What was supposed to be an early morning slumber turned into a nightmare.
Real.
It was early Wednesday morning, and I was trying to get some sleep for my approaching school day. In the middle of my comfortable sleep, my dream suddenly darkened, and I was in a dark place. I did not know what was going on
you had one hell of a
until I
night,
started
man.
to hear the screams of billions of people. Next thing I knew, I was surrounded by flames that were way over my head. However, I knew that I was not dead because...
You know what? I got to pause right there and say something. They said, I hear that depending on what you eat, that determines your dreams at night. That determines what happens in your dreams. But this is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. That's all it is. But let's carry on. Let's carry on with the video.
I was not suffering like the people around me, not feeling the actual effects. Let me know that I was merely a spectator. As I was running around hell, people sensed that I was not here forever, and I was going to eventually return to Earth. They started running towards me to tell me their stories of why they ended up there, and their warnings to mankind. Let me tell you, what each person told me was very informative. Throughout my experience, I saw different sections of hell. I also met some people who were rather successful during their lifetimes. When I talk about sections, I mean that hell is organized. Everyone who is in a certain section went to hell for the same sin. Also, the type of sin that you committed on earth determines the level of torture that you experience. One section I visited was the unsaved section. These people were nice, good people. Unfortunately, they died without Christ. They were in the lighter part of hell because the fire was only up to their waist. However, they were still in agony. As I left that section to explore hell some more,
No, let me stop it right there. You know what? Everybody, no, how can you punish somebody for not knowing it? They don't know. I know we're not searching. Not everyone's searching for the truth. Most of us just assuming it. But we all got one thing in common. Nobody knows it. I don't know. You don't know. They don't know. He doesn't know. She doesn't know it. We can't be punished for not knowing it. See, that's why I'm calling bullshit on this. They were nice people. They still gonna suffer it. That's just stupid. I can simply like, let's say that they died, then they meet the big man upstairs and says, "Know what? You got a choice. Hey, you want to accept me or you want to go down there?" I can see if they made the decision right then and there, right? But they can't make it on Earth, right? I don't think they can really make it on Earth because they don't know it. Shoot, none of us does really, but let's carry on.
I noticed that I was continually falling, and the flames were getting higher and higher. As I was getting deeper and deeper into the abyss, another soul clasped me. He told me that he was a white plantation owner in the South during his lifetime. He owned many slaves.
Damn straight. All right, white plantation owner. Yes, yes. But
by this remark, I learned that I was in the racism part of hell. When I started to look around, I noticed a lot of black power leaders and racist whites.
Well, I got to say about that. Yes. Know what? Yeah, let all them burn. The white plantation owners, the Stevens and the Akaruckuses, because they did exist back then. They exist today in the workplace. Some people just they just got they don't really have a good way of having it anymore. We see it, but they don't care. Let them burn. All the Nazis, the KKK, all of them, man. The Black Hebrews burn and all them shit. You know what? The same could be said for the Black Panthers, but let all of them burn because they made us look bad. You stoop to their level. Just like the Stevensons and the Akaruckuses back in the 1800s and beforehand stooped to their level. Well, actually, way worse than that. Because they hated somebody for not looking like them. And then the same reverse it. But let's listen what that white plantation owner said. What Calvin Candace had to say. Or Epps. But this is one thing that I do agree with it. Though I don't believe hell exists. But the motherfuckers, ignorant motherfuckers like them, they need to atone for their ex. They deserve to suffer.
The plantation owner looked at me and said, "Baby, tell people that color does not matter."
It showed up.
I wasted my whole life using this white supremacy mindset. I was intrigued because race is a topic that still has many people bound today. However, I felt like
Well, with that being him saying that, it's a topic, but we was way past that since 1969. Like we survived all the bullshit, atrocity over the years in this country in America. The slayings of the Native Americans, the genocide of the Jews. Well, everybody was a victim of slavery. I know they paid it most of it on people like me, but we survived that. The racist shit, the executions of MLK Jr., John F. Kennedy, Malcolm X, his brother RFK Sr. We survived all that. Then 1969 came, Woodstock 1969 came. Looked like that was the beginning of us rising above everything. We started having fun. We was way past that. We had everything figured out. Then 2 decades ago, later, like during the rise of Barack Obama, motherfuckers started hating. People like me started getting too big for their britches. I think that's when it all began again. It was a rarity before that shit happened. Oh, I'm talking to somebody right now, so give me a break. Be patient.
We will listen to her request. We will ask her pertinent questions about her young man, and then, with joy in our hearts and tears in our eyes, we'll say yes. This is a great father moment.
Okay, great. Bye.
Okay, get ready. Here comes the timid question.
Okay, let's get back to the video. But anyways, we had that shit figured out. But motherfuckers got too big for their britches. They want to act an ass and be an asshole, and they still continue. No, and not one side is guilty because both sides keep bringing it up. Like my side, like the people of color, especially my real side, the black side, they get upset with me because I talk a certain way. Then they get offended. It's like, oh, you think you're better than us now? Hey, you need to thank your lucky stars because I'm trying to improve us. So you don't hear me really use that N-word anymore, though we got rights to that word, just like the gay people got the word rights to the F word. I'm just trying to better myself. As far as the other side, the white side goes, the conservative side, they bring it up just to suck up to me. I'm like, hey, I see who you are. No need to bring it up. No need to stir this shit. And plus, shit, I see who you are. We come from different worlds, and we respect each other. Like after that election happened, I went to a certain bar like for the second time in my life. I was wondering, America had a guy said to me, he assumed that we came from both different worlds. He says, I like your American spirit. He says, let's carry on and have fun at this bar. That's all you have to do. It's like, great to meet you. We come from different worlds. Let's have fun. Ain't no need bringing it up. And plus, no person have no other person telling them what to do, especially no offense. I don't like saying this, but no white person, no matter what side you don't have, no business telling no black person how to think and feel. Because I already said my piece on things. It's like, don't tell me to let shit go or it's going to consume me. I told you, ain't nothing's upsetting to me. You didn't listen to me the first time. I'm spitting out facts, and you just don't like it because I'm telling it like it is and how it was. So I'm on everyone's side. I'm a people supporter. And the person on the different side said to me, I'm glad to call you my brother, Brian. But yeah, enough about that shit.
I had more to see. I thanked him for his story and went on. As I can
now, with him saying that, if I went down there and I confronted him, I would have said, I bet you wish you could have been the abolitionist, don't you, bitch? I bet you wish you could have been an abolitionist instead and fought for the North, fought in the North instead of those fucking Yankees. But let's carry on.
Continued my quest. I ran into business moguls. The next section that I ran into was the money section. This section was filled with rich CEOs, merchants, wealthy people, and people in general who chased after money their whole life.
Oh.
The collective story these souls told me were wealthy businessmen who did not care about others. All they cared about was their money and material things. When they showed up in front of God, they tried to woo him by telling him what degrees they had, what rich family they came from, what company they owned, the billions of dollars they amassed throughout their lifetimes.
Oh.
But the Lord only answered, I do not care about any of that.
Yeah, know what? If somebody from Beverly Dollar Warehouse around this area is there, if my story, if my beliefs is false and hell is real, I hope the fuckers from Family Dollar Warehouse in West Whippers are down there. If any of them are dead, those bosses and managers, hopefully their deaths come soon so they can suffer like that, so I can laugh at them, man. Just saying so. But this next thing you're gonna hear, this next part you're gonna hear, it's funny what God supposedly said to them.
Go away. I never knew you.
Ouch! What? That hurts. That hurts real bad. Like, go away. I never knew you. It would have been funny, says, I don't know you, be gone.
One soul looked at me and said, money does not matter because you cannot pay your way out of this place. And the rich has to be judged, just like the poor. Taking his quote to heart, I thanked the money chasers and went on. As I kept going on, souls were clinging on to me, eager to give warnings. all of them, were saying how it is so important to forgive people. I was now in the unforgiveness part of hell.
Well, maybe if this thing is real, then this is shit that I need. Well, if it real or fake, I need work on this because there's a lot of people around this area in West Memphis that I fucking hate with a passion. Too. I admit that I hated their fucking guts. You know what? They might not admit the same thing about me. They can play, I know your folks, and we went to high school together. All they can play those roles and placate that shit to me all they want. But I know deep down they feel the same thing around me. The feelings mutual and all the other bullshit. But yeah, it's certain as far as holding a grudge goes. It's a certain way how you carry yourselves. Like, I'm not thinking about them. I'm not plotting against them. I'm not trying to disrupt their life. I'm doing my best to stay away from them. Now, I'm hoping that they stay away from me. Yeah? That's the way it should be. Yeah? Unless they willing to take shit off the shelf. I'm willing to squash beefs, and as long as they willing to take shit off the shelf. I ain't with this shit. Like, leave it alone. They probably don't remember you. Yes, they do, huh? And even if they don't, it doesn't matter. Huh? Like, if I did something to somebody, I always remembered them. And I did my best to make it up to them. Huh? And I have, and I'm very good at putting the past behind me and settling things. Huh? Like, the worse it gets, it's when you keep on thinking about it, and the person keeps on making it worse on you, like somebody outside of that rivalry or that beef that keeps bringing it up to you that won't shut up about it. That's what the people makes it worse. Like I say, the sooner the person owns that shit, the sooner you can squash the beef and we can move on. But it is important. It's important to squash the beef, beefs and all this shit, but let's keep on going.
They let me know that this alone sent them to their eternal death. I also thanked them and trekked on. During the remainder of my experience, I only ran into celebrities and historical figures. I was wandering for a while, and then I noticed a man surrounded by this mass of flames. As I went closer, he spotted me and started walking towards me. When I could finally make out of him, through all the darkness, I realized that he was John Lennon.
Well, John Lennon, I don't think he believed in that shit, in religion. They say he's down there because he mocked God. If that's the case, he had that coming. But like I said, you can't punish a person for not knowing it. Now, my mom's husband said, like years ago, it came out with a CD. They said they was bigger than God, and people looked at it as sect religious. But the guy was like bringing people together. That's a good thing. And I hate when people say, so it doesn't matter how good of a person you are. You got to accept Jesus as your personal savior. But there's many other religions we truly don't know. So you can't, like I said, you can't punish you for not knowing it. Yeah.
Let me tell you, he was rather angry. He cursed throughout his whole testimonial. He blamed God for his predicament and said, "What kind of a man put people through this torture and not warn people beforehand?" While I was conversing with him, he told me that this was the musician part of hell. The Hollywood section was nearby. As I looked to the other side.
Well, as far as the Hollywood section goes, I heard a lot of motherfuckers are over there, down there in hell. Like, they named another few. Like, this next person I'm going to name, I'm going to let this video name this thing. Like they said, Marilyn Monroe's down there, Elvis Presley, Princess Diana, famous people, celebrities, historical figures, like, you already said there, Elvis, Marilyn Monroe, Princess Diana, Whitney Houston, Prince, Paul Walker, Chad Boston, the Black Panther. So when they said, yeah, Kobe Bryant, but when they said Kobe Bryant's daughter and Selena, the singer from that was murdered in 1995, I say that's a bullshit. It's on those for nice people. I never knew them personally, but that's a bullshit. They said that they was suffering down there as well. Lincoln, LLK Jr., Tupac, B.I.G., every president that's dead now. But let's carry on.
I noticed all of these famous Hollywood stars burning together. When I turned my attention back to John, another soul jumped through the flames that were surrounding us and appeared. In an instant, I knew that he was Michael Jackson.
No, when I heard his name pop up, I said to myself, I knew it. I know you fucked those. So I was right the first time. You did fuck those little boys. But no, that's not the case. I don't believe he really did that shit. You ain't got no good evidence. But anyways, that's besides the point. That's a different reason why he was supposedly down there. So listen up.
He looked like how he was supposed to look. A 50-year-old African-American man with a wide nose and an afro.
Yeah.
He looked nothing like how he looked before he died. When I saw the pain in his face, my heart was broken. He didn't say anything to me, but I knew that he was in deep agony and despair. Unlike John Lennon, he was very remorseful for his past life and actions. You could tell this by the petrified look on his face. Even though I felt sorry for these musicians, there was nothing I could do. This is the price they have to pay for selling their souls to the devil for fame and fortune. I thought I had seen it all.
You know what? That's some Illuminati type bullshit. I used to believe in the Illuminati, but I said to myself, that's complete and utter BS over the years. Hey, Phantom Man, I'm doing some watch-alongs. Hope you caught what I was looking at. But anyways, a guy that I used to do a show with called Straight Rambling, he did a video about this back in 2013 after that Super Bowl fiasco about Beyonce doing her thing. They said it was devil worship shit. Then he asked himself in the video, why can't people be successful? I think these ain't nothing but some disgruntled Christians or disgruntled Jehovah Witnesses that's getting mad because nobody would join their church. No, that's a code to me. Like, you could never have enough people in your church. But you got more than enough people in your church. So quit worrying about what other people are doing. Oh, cool. Keep up the good work, man. Ain't nothing but I say about this thing, they say nothing but a bunch of disgruntled religious freaks that's getting mad because they won't believe the same thing they believe it. So they want to make up stories and all this shit. Yeah, but we're going to agree with it. Some of them we ain't in this video, as far as this video goes. And these are the same people said that the world was going to end back in 2011 and 2012 on certain dates. That shit never happened. So, oh, cool. But let's carry on with the video.
Little did I know that the worst was yet to come. I was in for a ride. Once I left the musician section, I kept walking. Suddenly, this hole in the ground caught my attention. It was a very wide hole in the middle of the ground. I stood back for a while because I didn't know what to make of it. Soon, I realized that there were a vast number of groans coming out of that hole. Then I saw hands clinging to the top of the pit, and I realized that souls were actually trying to climb out of this deep pit. Most were not successful, however. The ones that managed to make it out of the pit were quickly thrown back in by demons. Once I saw that, I decided to go near the hole and peek inside. I was in for a surprise. This pit was far deeper than any pit that I encountered so far. I saw people trying to climb out from way out of the vast darkness of this pit. However, I noticed something else. A little ways down from the opening of the hole, there was a leveled piece of land which had a smaller hole in the middle of it. The hole in the middle of it was the continuation of the pit that the people were trying to climb out of. On this leveled piece of land, there was a man standing there looking down at the people trying to climb up. He looked up at me. He was Adolf Hitler.
Oh,
I knew
that's
then that
believable.
this mini section
Hell's
was the
real.
section for dictators and evil leaders. He did not say a word. He just looked at me with that same straight, mean face that he has in all his pictures. When he turned away from me, he resumed, looking at the people climbing up from the much deeper trench. He did not help them up in any way.
You're the same man.
I was in for a bigger surprise as I walked away from the hole. As I was leaving the area, another person grasped me. When I looked at him, I knew that he was Andy Warhol and the people who were trying to climb out of the extremely...
Andy Warhol. If his people don't know who that is, that was the gay guy who died back in 1987 then. So his reason for being there, some people may agree with it, some people may not. So let's keep
deep hole were homosexuals. He informed me that he had just climbed out of that pit. He said, please tell people that homosexuality and gay marriage is wrong. It is against God, and homosexuals are in the deepest part of hell. Then a demon grabbed...
Okay, how can they fight their urges? I admit the transgender, the tranny shit is a tear out of control, but how can they fight their urges if that shit's wrong? But yeah.
Him and threw him back in the pit.
Oh.
Petrified as I was, I started looking for him. Then a demon grabbed him and threw him back in the pit. Petrified as I was, I started looking for a way out. I was running back through where I started. While I was doing this, I noticed nothing but souls falling from the sky. I realized that these people were fresh from judgment and that the angels were dropping them into hell. I was running.
Oh, they changed story about like how you go to hell. Like you don't automatically go to heaven or hell. You got to go to judgment day first. Well, it's different stories to all this shit. If there's a judgment day rule thing and all this shit, if there's a judgment day or what? Because God's words to be all in all and all this shit. So let's carry on.
And all of a sudden, I was no longer in hell. Instead, I was in the judgment room that everyone is appointed to when they die. I noticed two holes. One was in the ceiling of the room, and it had light shining through it. This represented heaven. The other hole was on the floor of the room, and it had fire coming through it. This obviously represented hell. Heaven's hole was closing up, and hell's was widening and becoming bigger. This signified that a slimmer amount of people are making it to heaven each day. There is a big increase in the amount of people ending up in hell each day. Before I knew it, I woke up scared. This experience was an eye-opener for me. It not only taught me how to get my life together, but it showed me how mankind is truly in trouble. I am still amazed by this experience because I had no clue how I got to hell or the judgment room. I just appeared. The moral is this: forgive, come to Jesus, and ask God for a pure heart and to help you make it through life. You do not want to end up in hell, nor do you want anyone else there. Just remember, the biggest fight in life is for your soul. Thank you for watching to the end. Please help us get this message out to the rest of the world by forwarding it to all of your friends and family members. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so right away so that you can receive other videos on God's Word in the days and weeks ahead. I am grateful to you, and may God continue to bless you till our next meeting.
Okay, review time before I go get dinner ready. You know what? A part of me believes that. A bit of part of me believes that. Most part of me don't believe everything that they're saying. But it served a purpose to me. And it told some truth at the end. Yes, mankind is some deep shit right now. We are in trouble. And I think it's a slimmer amount of people that's decent enough to live a better life, while most of us, we deserve to suffer. Huh? But I still don't believe in the hell. Yeah, okay. People say, no, it doesn't matter if God loves all of us. You're still gonna go if you deserve to go. You know what? Hey, y'all gotta make shit make sense now. Because most of these people making God sound like a dickhead when he obviously isn't. But y'all know he isn't. But y'all make him sound like that over the littlest shit. Or shit that you don't agree with. But as far as this Illuminati shit goes, y'all say we should listen to their music, watch their movies. After y'all teach that to the kids, because I was told this 20 years ago about the truth behind hip hop documentary or DVD special. You know what? You used to say people like after that video or that DVD or that documentary or something, you went back and watched a video of Jay-Z or Lady Gaga or anybody that's associated with this. You went back and watched their shit. So don't give me that bull. Don't tell me what I should and shouldn't do it. And plus, you don't know the real truth, just like the rest of us. Yeah, sir, the purpose, like I said, mankind is in trouble. But I say, like, as far as us paying for our sins goes, if God wanted us to pay for our sins, that's a thing called karma, poetic justice. While we still living and breathing on earth. Because like I said, plot twist, we already in hell. It ain't like if I rob you, then you get robbed, then I get robbed right back. Let's say I rob you. Hey, let's like somewhere down the road, I might lose a leg. So think about that. But the Bible supposedly said, a certain version of the Bible, all versions said, know what? That hell is temporary. Hell is empty. Some pages say hell is empty. That hell is temporary. What have you? I'm like, you can't have more than one story. It only has to be one true story. Yeah. And plus, Jesus died for our sins, so makes sense. Well, we go for it. I would still go to hell if Jesus died for our sins. Think about that. Eh? Can somebody explain something to me who thinks otherwise? I don't think you can. I don't think nobody really can. Maybe a few people can, but but like I said, some people do need to suffer. There ain't my place to say that they deserve to suffer. I leave that to the big man upstairs. Because some horse shit does come out the Bible, but one of the things I agree with, never condemn anybody, so you won't be condemned. That's for God to do. Like I watched a short video last year, like after O.J. Simpson died. No, I really never rocked with him. Eh? Like after he left this earth, I know the white folks and some other peoples of color, they had a field day with it saying, oh, he's falling fast and on his way in hell. A guy made a video about that. Says the Bible says, don't condemn me. You won't be condemned. Since you're condemning, should you be going to hell too? So, yeah. Then it's other verses says like other videos like this. The one that we just watched said it's children in hell. Bullshit. Other people like a truthful pastor. He seems like a decent guy. Says there's no children in hell and all this shit. They even said the preacher Billy Graham is in hell too. Another video like this said that. I said, no, what? This shit ain't making sense. Because he's supposedly one of you. And you say you went to, had a near-death experience and seen them down there. Give me a break. Y'all a bunch of just grown-up people that don't like people. I know I don't like most people, but I'm not going to condemn them and claim I seen them down there and all that shit. It's like, make it make sense then. Like the atheists, they had their perspective sense. They're just walking around the afterlife. And people had to believe how I believe. Like, you just went to heaven and all that shit. And that's it. That hell, we're already in hell, which I strongly believe. But let's think about it, and I'll let you decide shit for yourself after that. But I got to warm up dinner. I'll be right back for the time being. Hold up, folks. I will play a song, but
Michael, wait. What's wrong? You didn't tell me you had a daughter. Yeah. Well, you just don't get this, do you?
I don't get what?
This changes everything. You didn't tell me you had a daughter when you asked me out.
Would it have made a difference?
Yes.
You serious?
Of course I'm serious. Michael, I don't want a family. I don't even want a dog.
Together, you'll be like mother and daughter. This isn't helping, is it?
Goodbye, Michael. What happened?
Nothing happened.
But your date just left.
Yeah, she was tired.
It was because of me, wasn't it? No.
She's a jerk. Jerks get tired really easy.
Michael, if you're going to be home, I guess you won't be needing me anymore.
No? Thanks, Nick.
Cordially invite you to join Dana and me for our Saturday night ritual, commonly known as sticking out on dance.
Is there a dress code involved?
You need a follow.
okay, I'm back again. I'm back again until something else comes up. I'm warming up my dinner right now. I know people that went away on me. Yeah? Most people. Yeah. Keeping it. I wonder if they get bored with this shit. So I did the best I could.
You know, you two look good together.
Good night.
Apparently, we have the cold feel of approval.
Yeah, but that's not enough. I want a dowry. Hey, Father, I need cat.
All right.
Yeah, I did too. Thanks for letting me tag along. The day is over.
Yeah, but that's all right. Let's see who else is doing some shit right now. things that went selling it. Okay, why am I taking this? Get out of here. Okay. Stop lying. Let's see what one of our boys and girls doing some shit. I know some new people coming up and doing their thing now. Oh, I heard the microwave stopped, so I might have to go back again. I know I'm gonna cover myself up because I don't want y'all to see me eating or hear me eating. So, no, we probably gotta do more watch alongs. Yeah, I ain't been to the beach in over 30 years, Angie. And welcome back, Angie. I wonder if she was around for those watch along videos, the other videos that I did. Yes, I did. Hold on. This is a solo layout, damn it. Quit. But yeah, I listen to that shit. But yeah, Angie. Yeah, I wonder that you listen to the other watch along videos that I played. Okay, one of these days, Angie. One of these days. Oh, let me go get my shit. Take over for me.
Okay, open
Okay, I'm back. Oh, cool. Yeah, but yeah, I gave my output on the last thing. I say it's halfway bullshitted, but the fact of the matter is, nobody knows everything, any damn thing. It seems scary, but nobody knows. Know what? Dinner began for me. I think we need to do a watch along until I'm done eating. Time to look for the perfect video. I ain't gonna play no music. Or maybe I could do a song. I don't know. But I gotta be careful about certain things. YouTube act like bitches. Oh, you still this person's music? When? That's what I'm tired of these motherfuckers. I always wonder about little shit. Since Google need to fold, they should have never owned YouTube in the first fucking place. This shit ain't doing nothing but making things worse on people. The other creators saying we're trying to improve things. I guess their boss tells them, no, you need to do something, make some changes, don't care what it is. Shake things up around here, no matter how good or bad it is. But yeah. I need to look for some sounds. Oh, let me take the camera off of me. Okay, I'm still searching for something for us to listen to. Yeah? That's all I'm doing. But I gotta be careful with things. Maybe something informative. Something we need to look up. Or maybe a throwback video from me. Yeah? I do not know. Any suggestions? It's so hard when you can't play music. Well, you can still play music, but you want to be careful about things. It might stop things in the midst.
This Valentine's Day is the best time to try Plexaderm with our starter price of only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Your solution.
Okay, we're gonna go something educational while I'm eating it.
Billy the Kid, born Henry McCarty in 1859, New York City, became a legendary outlaw in the American Old West. He grew up in poverty, moving to the New Mexico Territory after his father's death and his mother's remarriage. Orphaned by age 14, he turned to petty theft and later more serious crimes to survive. Known for his charm and wit, he earned a reputation as both a pleasant person but also a cold-blooded killer. Billy's criminal career escalated during the Lincoln County War in New Mexico, which started in 1878, and this was a violent conflict between rival economic factions vying for control of local resources. He sided with a group called the Regulators, a posse seeking justice for the killing of a rancher. The conflict became more brutal as time went on, and Billy became infamous for his role in numerous shootouts. Historians attribute at least 8 to 12 killings to Billy, though some accounts are exaggerated by folklore. Billy specialized in cattle rustling, robbery, and gunfights, earning notoriety for his audacity, including a daring escape from jail where he killed 2 deputies. Despite being vilified by law enforcement, he was admired by some for his rebelliousness and survival skills in a harsh environment. He was captured and sentenced to hang in 1881, but escaped once again before being tracked down and killed by Sheriff Pat Garrett in Fort Sumner, New Mexico on July 14, 1881 at the age of 21. Billy the Kid's life left a lasting impact on American culture, and his story inspired countless books, movies, and songs, shaping the romanticized view of the Wild West. Charles Ponzi was born on March 3, 1882 in Lugo, Italy, and he became one of history's most infamous con artists. Growing up in a modest family, Ponzi received an education at the University of Rome, but wasted opportunities with the lavish lifestyle. In 1903, he immigrated to the United States, seeking fortune, but soon fell into a life of fraud. Ponzi is best known for orchestrating the Ponzi scheme, a fraudulent investment operation. His scam revolved around exploiting the price differences in international postal reply coupons, which he claimed could yield enormous profits when exchanged across countries. In reality, Ponzi was not investing money, but using funds from new investors to pay returns to earlier investors, creating the illusion of success. By 1920, Ponzi's scheme had attracted tens of thousands of investors, promising returns of 50% in 45 days or 100% in 90 days. At its peak, he collected approximately $15 million, which would be equivalent to over $200 million today. However, his operation collapsed under scrutiny, revealing no actual investments backing his claims. Ponzi defrauded an estimated 40,000 investors, and he was convicted of mail fraud in 1920, serving prison sentences in both the United States and Italy. He died as a poor man in 1949 in Brazil, with his impact being significant as his name became synonymous with pyramid-style financial fraud. The Ponzi scheme remains a well-known tale in finance, and his story highlights the dangers of greed and the vulnerabilities in unregulated investment systems. Charles Lucky Luciano, born Salvatore Lucania on November 24, 1897 in Sicily, Italy, became one of the most influential figures in organized crime in the 20th century. His family immigrated to New York City when he was 9, settling in the poverty-stricken Lower East Side. Struggling in school, Luciano gravitated towards street gangs and petty crime, eventually joining the 5 Points Gang, a notorious criminal organization. He earned the nickname Lucky after surviving a brutal gang attack which left him scarred. By the 1920s, He became a leading figure in bootlegging during Prohibition, partnering with figures like Meyer Lansky and Bugsy Siegel. His innovation was restructuring the mafia into a corporate-style organization, forming the National Crime Syndicate and the Commission, a governing body to mediate disputes and manage criminal enterprises across the United States. In 1931, he orchestrated the death of his boss, Joe Masseria, and rival, Salvatore Maranzo, solidifying his power and marking the end of the Castellamarese War, a violent mafia conflict. He then modernized organized crime by focusing on illegal gambling, extortion, and narcotics while minimizing inter-gang warfare. In 1936, he was convicted of running a prostitution ring and sentenced to 30 to 50 years. However, during World War II, his connections helped United States naval intelligence secure New York ports, leading to him being released and deported to Italy in 1946, where he continued to influence organized crime globally until his death from a heart attack on January 26, 1962. Lucky Luciano reorganized the mafia into a national powerhouse, shaping the criminal underworld for decades, with him being viewed as one of the most influential figures in organized crime. Al Capone, born Alphonse Gabriel Capone on January 17, 1899, in Brooklyn, New York, became one of America's most infamous gangsters. The son of Italian immigrants, Capone grew up in a rough neighborhood and dropped out of school at 14 after assaulting a teacher. He joined local street gangs, including the 5 Points Gang, where he learned the criminal trade and earned the nickname Scarface after being slashed in a bar fight. Capone moved to Chicago in the 1920s, working under mob boss Johnny Torrio before taking over his organization in 1925. Capone built a criminal empire specializing in bootlegging, gambling, prostitution, and extortion during Prohibition. Known as the Chicago Outfit, his organization controlled much of Chicago's illicit activity, generating millions in revenue and employing ruthless methods to eliminate competition. Capone is linked to several violent events, most notoriously the St. Valentine's Day Massacre in 1929, where 7 rival gang members were gunned down. While the exact number of killings ordered or committed by Capone is uncertain, he is believed to be responsible for dozens of deaths. Despite his violent reputation, Capone cultivated a public image as a benefactor, donating to charities and helping the poor. However, his reign ended in 1931 when he was convicted of tax evasion and sentenced to 11 years in prison. Released in 1939 due to health issues, including syphilis-induced dementia, Capone lived in Florida until his death on January 25, 1947. Al Capone is known for helping establish organized crime as a real threat in America, especially during Prohibition, and he is a major reason why the FBI was founded. His legacy continues on, especially through books, documentaries, and films. Meyer Lansky was born on July 4, 1902, in Grodno, Russian Empire, which is now Belarus, and he became one of the most influential figures in organized crime during the 20th century. His family immigrated to the United States in 1911, settling in New York City's Lower East Side. Growing up in poverty, Lansky showed intelligence and discipline, qualities that later set him apart in the criminal underworld. Lansky began his criminal career with childhood friends Bugsy Siegel and Lucky Luciano. Together, they formed alliances that would shape the foundation of organized crime in America. Lansky was instrumental in creating the National Crime Syndicate, and unlike many gangsters of his era, he avoided public attention and preferred to work behind the scenes, focusing on financial management and strategy. He specialized in illegal gambling, money laundering, bootlegging during Prohibition, and later expanded his operations internationally, including in Cuba. Lansky's financial acumen earned him the nickname the mob's accountant, and he played a key role in building casinos and laundering criminal profits. Though not directly tied to violent crimes, Lansky's operations were supported by violent enforcement carried out by associates. Lansky avoided major criminal convictions despite multiple investigations and was never definitively tied to killing anyone. He retired to Miami, but faced legal troubles in his later years, and he eventually died of lung cancer on January 15, 1983, leaving behind a legacy as a master organizer and being recognized as a figure that helped globalize the mafia's operations. John Dillinger was born on June 22, 1903, in Indianapolis, Indiana, and he became one of America's most infamous criminals during the Great Depression. Raised in a middle-class family, Dillinger experienced a strict and often punitive upbringing from his father. Rebellious and prone to trouble, he dropped out of school and began associating with local delinquents. He joined the U.S. Navy, but that quickly ended in desertion, and he soon turned to crime. Dillinger initially served time in prison for a failed robbery attempt, during which he befriended hardened criminals who taught him how to commit crimes. Upon his release in 1933, he quickly escalated to leading a gang responsible for a string of daring bank robberies across the Midwest. Dillinger became notorious for his audacity, using cunning tactics, high-speed getaways, and an arsenal of stolen weapons. His gang's violent heists often resulted in fatalities, and Dillinger was linked to at least 10 deaths, though the exact number of victims remains unclear. Dillinger's celebrity status grew due to his charisma and the public's resentment of financial institutions during the Depression. Despite his violent methods, he was romanticized as a Robin Hood figure, and his criminal exploits embarrassed law enforcement, especially after several high-profile escapes from jail, including one using a wooden gun. His downfall came on July 22, 1934, when the FBI tracked him to Chicago.
Well, let me stop it right there. That's enough of that video. I don't know if I'm going to do any more play-alongs or whatever, but the link is pinned. Had leftover lunch for dinner, a piece of catfish and those gizzards, and a few carrots to fill me up. I had peanuts to pregame for dinner, so I guess that's what filled me up. Sure, it's kind of a boring night. Most people ain't around because other people in the certain communities are going live. We don't like to step up. They don't like to step on each other's toes, but they do it anyways, so to speak, whatever they like to call it. We all got to do something to stay relevant at some point. Hold on. But me, I belong to no one. I do what I want. I know the motherfuckers won't be loyal to me, so I'm free to roam. I'm free to do my thing. I'm free to do me, yeah? Okay, back to it now. So here I am again. Ain't nothing that's interesting going on. Well, I gotta look at the ones with the females because I don't think it's any rare anymore that you hear about the female go-getters doing some shit. Okay, I think we should do this watch alone.
Recuerde
Check it out.
que el verdadero poder del amor no es suficiente que el amor por el poder. Muchas gracias.
Después de esta comida, la asesinaron en un restaurante ubicado en Quevedo, provincia de Los Ríos.
April 29, 2024, Landy Baraga, a former Ecuadorian beauty queen, was gunned down while having lunch with her boyfriend. Little did anyone know her death would expose her cartel involvement and the shocking secrets behind her glamorous life. This is what happens when female narcos mess with brutal cartels.
Oh, man.
2014, the Los Zetas cartel captured the deadliest female sicario, Yesenia Pacheco, aka La Güera Loca, meaning the crazy witch. Now, they'd hunted her for 5 years, and now it was time for her to pay the price for all she did against the Zetas. As far as the Mexican drug cartel world was concerned, La Güera Loca was a name that terrified even the most hardened cartel sicarios. She wasn't only feared, but she was also deeply disliked by rival cartel members who were angry at her for many reasons over the years. Yesenia really terrorized them, and they couldn't bring her to justice. In fact, her methods of assassinating rival cartels were crazy. Thus, her nickname. In 2009, Yesenia joined the Gulf Cartel. It was almost a natural decision for her to join because she was born in Navalato, Sinaloa. where the Gulf Cartel was highly respected. She wanted respect. She wanted money. And being a member of one of Mexico's most violent cartels promised her everything she desired. But new members must start from the bottom and prove themselves. So Yesenia was made a hawk. In the cartel world, hawks are like spies. They stand as lookouts for other cartels, police, or military movement. They would heavily spy on their enemies, and being a girl makes the job that much easier, as women are less likely to be suspected. Yesenia wasted no time in showing her bosses that she was capable of anything demanded from her, things even the most experienced Sicarios would consider extreme. And because of her unique skills and lack of emotion, she quickly rose through the ranks, earning a reputation in the organization. In 2010, the Gulf Cartel suddenly entrusted Yesenia with her own faction, and she became the first woman to ever receive such an honor of leading her own elite group of assassins called Las Enas. This was a role she would embrace with passion. Her mission was clear and brutal: to annihilate Los Zetas, which was the main rival of the Gulf Cartel at the time. Yesenia was permitted to be as extreme as she wanted to be, and that was exactly what she did. Between 2011 and 2013, she had a reign of terror. Acts like beheadings, skinning rivals alive, and dismembering her captives were all too common. This chick was brutal, and no one knows for sure how many people she killed. It's scary to kind of think about it, but some people say she killed a lot. Maybe even in the hundreds. She and her friends were always trying to show how powerful they were and how they didn't care about anyone else. And as if it was no big deal, they killed people quickly without any feelings. In 2011, the internet witnessed a shocking spectacle in a video where Yesenia stepped into the spotlight. With a twisted grin on her lips, she grabbed a machete and began the disturbing task of cutting off the head of a Los Zetas cartel member. It would last about 2 minutes, but the gruesome nature of this video made it really hard to watch. In the video, she would hack away, showing no mercy or remorse, but the horror.
She says she cut off a cartel member, so Griselda's cartel. One of Griselda's people.
Head of a Los Zetas cartel member. It would last began the disturbing task of cutting off the head of a Los Zetas cartel member. It would last about 2 minutes, but the gruesome nature of this video made it really hard to watch. In the video, she would hack away, showing no mercy or remorse, but the horror had only just begun. As the head rolled away, another cartel member stepped forward with a box cutter in hand. He then proceeded to skin the victim's face with precision, like a butcher preparing a side of beef. For a grueling 10 minutes, he flayed the flesh, while the group cheered and laughed on camera. But still, the worst was yet to come. The camera then moved to another group that had their hands dripping with blood as they hacked and sawed at the body, reducing it to a pile of flesh and bone. This was the video that made Yesenia, the blonde psycho, become popular in Mexico. However, her reign of terror eventually came to an end. By 2014, her fate was sealed, and she would pay for all her evil works. Yesenia had evaded capture for 5 long years from a rival cartel. In those years, the Zetas really tried to get her, but Yesenia was pretty sleek. Now, they could have easily just gunned her down, but they didn't want to just kill her. They wanted to do other things. They wanted to make a spectacle of the blonde psycho who was responsible for the death of many of their members. On the day she was captured, Yesenia was ambushed by 3 of her killer squads. There was no escape this time, and she knew her fate was sealed, so she didn't put up a fight. While they wasted no time in beheading her 3 companions, the Zeta Sicarios took their time to make sure that Yesenia suffered. She was tortured and humiliated by everyone while they recorded it all on camera. When they were done messing with her, the real horror began. One of the men skillfully slit her throat in such a way that she was choking on her blood, all while still being alive. Then they allowed her to suffer this way before her head was cut off with a machete.
Oh, wow. So she really made them, man. She really pissed them off. Look, I hate that bitch. Like, I guess for 5 years they fantasized doing some horrific, unimaginable things to her. She made them mad. Like, yeah. Probably took bread and wine off their table with all the killers she was doing to their members. But let's carry on.
Zetas made sure she was paid back in the exact fashion she executed those who were unfortunate to be her victims. Her remains were then found someday. days later, butchered and stuffed in a briefcase, which was then dumped on a landfill. The Zetas cartel disposed of her intentionally like trash, as a clear message of what they think of her. As brutal as the death of Yesenia was, it's nothing compared to what was done to this next female narco.
Recuerde que el verdadero poder del amor no es suficiente que el amor por el poder. Muchas gracias.
Después de esta comida, la asesinaron en un restaurante ubicado en Quevedo, provincia de Los Ríos.
2022, Landy Barraga contested for Miss Ecuador and quickly became famous. But what made her even more famous was her involvement with one of the most powerful cartels in Ecuador, which ended her life through an unexpected string of events. Barraga took full advantage of her appearance in the 2022 Miss Ecuador pageant to gain popularity. After she represented Los Rios province in the contest, she became very active on social media, where she shared her vibrant life with her fans. Her life, at least on the surface, seemed almost magical. Her Instagram was full of elegant images, showcasing her luxurious lifestyle, stunning outfits, and trips to beautiful places. With over 1 million followers, Landy was living the kind of life many dreamt about. But beneath that glamour, there was a side hidden from her fans, a side that would eventually have devastating consequences. The life Landy lived was the life only a millionaire could afford. It was strange that she could somehow afford that lifestyle in a poor country like Ecuador without showing any kind of verifiable source of income to justify that level of wealth. Her secret would not stay hidden for long, though. The first thing that came to light was when her name surfaced in connection with Leandro Norero, a notorious Ecuadorian drug lord, popularly known as El Patron. Everyone in Ecuador associated his name with power and fear in the country's underworld. This guy was known for his involvement in the drug trade and other criminal operations, really being one of the most powerful figures in Ecuador's expanding cartel. But his influence wouldn't just be to the criminal world and throughout different circles of society, because he had a lot of money. Even though he had a lot of friends in government, he was still a target that was being closely watched by the authorities, and he would eventually become a target of a massive criminal investigation named Metastasis. This investigation aimed to dismantle his network, implicating more than 50 individuals, including government officials and lawyers. And shockingly, Landy was among those entangled in this web. As a part of the Metastasis investigation, police obtained Norero's phone, and in it, they found a series of messages and conversations that revealed his connection to Landy. At first, it seemed unimaginable that a beauty queen with a life so public would be linked to someone like Norero. But this was evidence that proved that she didn't only date this guy, she knew exactly what he was involved in. Norero had confided in his lawyer, expressing concerns over the discovery of his affair with Landy. We know this thanks to records released by Ecuador's Attorney General's office. He feared his wife might find out, knowing such a revelation could cause his world to crumble. But this was no ordinary relationship. Their connection hinted at something deeper, potentially involving illegal activities like money laundering, raising troubling questions about how far Landy might have been involved. Lina Romero isn't someone you would dare cross. As the wife of Leandro Norero, she didn't merely stand beside him as a passive spouse. Instead, she matched his power and reputation as a dangerous narco boss. Romero's alleged role is anything but subtle. She's been accused of bribing judges and prosecutors, suggesting she tried to influence the very legal system meant to keep people like her in check. This wasn't the only charge against her. Investigations would also show she money laundered for Norero, fueling their network, ensuring their illegal profits stayed clean and accessible, even as authorities would close in. But bribery and money laundering was just the start. Norero was scared of what Lina would do if she found out about Landy, but Landy didn't seem to care. Her focus was just on enjoying the privileges of dating a cartel boss as rich and as powerful as Norero. May 25th, 2022. In a series of 19 coordinated raids, police stormed multiple locations across the provinces of Manabi, Guayas, and Santa Elena, seizing more than $6 million in cash, along with gold bars, jewelry, and firearms. Norero was arrested during that raid, and his ties with groups such as Los Lobos, Los Tiguerones, Los Lagartos, and Chone Killers meant that he'd be facing serious jail time. These gangs, notorious for their ruthlessness, are said to work in partnership with the Mexican Jalisco New Generation cartel. This network allowed Norrero's influence to spill over Ecuador's borders, deepening his reach into the larger international drug trade. Once in custody, though, Norrero was transferred to the Latacunga prison, known for housing high-risk inmates. However, his arrest wouldn't mark the end of his story. Ecuador's prison system, notorious for gang-related violence and riots, became the setting for Norrero's final chapter. So, just 5 months after he was arrested, he was murdered inside the walls of Latacunga prison, and this meant Lina was now fully in charge of his organization. And it also meant that his mistress, Landy, now had no one to protect her. April 29th, 2024, the tension around this secret relationship reached a tragic climax. That day, Landy and her new boyfriend were having lunch in a restaurant in Quevedo, a bustling city in Ecuador.
Después de esta comida, la asesinaron en un restaurante ubicado en Quevedo, provincia de Los Ríos.
Security camera footage later revealed what happened. In the middle of their meal, 2 masked gunmen entered the restaurant, scanning the room. The footage shows Landy, seemingly aware of the men, turning slightly as one of them walked up to her and began firing. The sudden burst of gunfire struck both Landy and her new boyfriend, leaving them fatally wounded. The horror of the murder left many asking how her killers knew where to find her.
Averiguar a qué sabían los policías de Landy.
Just before the attack, she had posted a photo on Instagram showing her meal, a plate of octopus ceviche. Investigators suspected that the post may have revealed her location, giving the gunman the precise lead to where she was. And what seemed like a harmless update to her followers could have been all her enemies needed to track her down. But now, who would have wanted Landy dead, and why? Theories quickly surfaced, many which pointed to Norrero's widow as a potential mastermind behind the murder. But it is believed she may have discovered the affair and had sought revenge, enacting a bitter and deadly response to her husband's betrayal. Now, that theory aligns with what Norrero himself feared. He had once told his lawyer that he dreaded his wife finding out about Landy, knowing it would lead to disaster. I mean, that's just what happens to women who mess with cartel bosses who have powerful wives. So Landy's case isn't really rare, but it did gain attention because of her popularity. If you think that's disturbing, wait till you see how this next person messed with a deadly cartel. Welcome to April 12th, 2015. Hitmen of the Los Metros cartel capture Jocelyn Alejandra Niño, infamously known as La Flaca, or the Skinny One. Now, interestingly, her story is one of a hunter becoming the hunted, but in the most extreme way imaginable. Jocelyn Niño entered into the narco world as an assassin tied to the notorious Gulf Cartel, which is a powerful criminal organization deeply involved in the violent, riddled state of Tamaulipas, Mexico. Her alias pointed not only to her slender physique, but also would hold a darker significance as an homage to Our Lady of Holy Death, a female skeleton saint feared yet loved by many Mexicans, especially within the shadowy world of the drug trade. In fact, only the most dreaded female sicarios were recognized by the name of La Flaca, and Jocelyn earned that recognition by being ruthless. La Flaca's journey into the cartel underworld was no accident. Like many women brought into organized crime, she was recruited for her looks, which allowed her to blend in seamlessly and avoid suspicion from enemies and authorities alike. Now, this skill proved essential in a world where being invisible could mean survival. It also meant she could execute her targets more easily, as many men wouldn't consider such a pretty lady to be a cold-blooded killer. But her career within the Gulf Cartel wasn't simply about evading detection. La Flaca was a soldier in every sense. She was part of a fierce subgroup called Los Ciclones, and her role was to battle opposing factions like Los Metros, a rival group fighting for control in the cartel's endless turf wars. On January 5th, 2015, a photo of Jocelyn surfaced online, showing a young woman with a childlike smile, yet chillingly armed and wearing a bulletproof vest. This was the image that cemented La Flaca's popularity. The pic, leaked on Valor por Tamaulipas, quickly circulated across social media and gained her a lot of admirers. It also made her a prime target for both the government and rival gangs. Authorities suspected the picture was uploaded by Los Metros, with the aim of exposing Jocelyn and turning her into a marked target. April 12, 2015, Los Metros captures Jocelyn and 2 of her allies. By the next day, the authorities found her dismembered body in a discarded ice cooler in Rio Bravo. Her limbs had been severed, along with 2 other corpses lying beside her. A tattoo bearing her last name, Niño, was the only way authorities could identify her remains. And if her killers wanted to add to that fear, they succeeded with the release of graphic photos online. That was a brutal message aimed at her faction, Los Ciclones. And as far as her killers were concerned, Jocelyn was a cold sicario, and she died suffering the same fate she served others. While the death of Jocelyn is unarguably horrific, the punishment given to a seemingly harmless young woman will leave you speechless. March 2024, Gabriela Lima Santana disappeared without a trace. Little did anyone know that she had met a terrible fate that proved just how dangerous it was to get involved with cartels. On March 13th, 2024, Gabriela was supposed to be preparing for her birthday, which was coming up on the next day of that month. While everything kind of looked normal, her family had no idea how much trouble she was really in. You see, for some days, no one had seen or heard from her, but they assumed that she was fine and was probably with her friends. They were also very sure that she wouldn't miss her birthday, so they hoped she would show up at least a day before the birthday. However, when evening started approaching on that day, everyone wondered where she was. And it would be at this point that they report the situation to the police. In Rio Grande do Sul, Brazil, where this incident happened, disappearances weren't rare. They're almost expected. This region was a breeding ground for gang warfare, with police raids happening regularly. Both gangs and cops had notorious reputations, each accused of leaving behind a trail of missing or dead people. One gang in particular, feared in this region, is Bala na Cara, meaning bullet in the face. The message is pretty straightforward. Cross their path and you get a bullet in the face. Yet for those who truly angered them, the punishment went far beyond a mere gunshot. Gabriela Santana was destined to suffer a fate far worse. Just days after Gabriela vanished, a gruesome video began making the rounds. In it, a man stood over a woman's dismembered body in a bathtub, slicing and smiling for the camera. The woman was soon identified as Gabriela. Her killer chopped her body, stuffing the remains into a suitcase before discarding it in a ditch in Capão da Canoa. The man in the video, later identified as a 49-year-old gang member, appeared disturbingly satisfied with his horrific task. He was joined by a 23-year-old accomplice. Their faces were soon revealed to the public, but the police withheld their names. March 24th, 2024. Several days after Gabriela went missing, municipal workers clearing garbage from a drainage ditch stumbled upon a gruesome sight. A worker sifting through the debris suddenly froze. There, drifting in the water, was a human arm, and not far from it was a suitcase oozing with the smell of rotten flesh. When forensics pulled that heavy suitcase from the ditch and unzipped it, they found a shocking scene. Inside was Gabriela's body, dismembered and stuffed within. Her limbs and torso also stacked inside. But that's not all. Stones were in the suitcase to help it sink underwater. Additionally, scattered near the suitcase were saws, knives, and other sharpened instruments that were believed to have been used by her killers. In fact, the police were only able to confirm her identity through her fingerprints and tattoos, one of which suggested an allegiance to a local gang. While no one knows exactly what led to the murder of Gabriela, it is believed that she had been butchered in a suspected retaliation against a rival gang. If you think the cartel killing Gabriela a few days before her birthday was brutal, wait until you hear what was done to a cartel boss lady on her wedding day.
Comandante Azul, putos, arriba Santa Rosa de Lima.
January 2020, the wedding of a cartel boss lady named Karem Lisbeth Ortiz turned into a massacre after sicarios of the CJNG stormed the venue. While many thought it was just a terroristic attack on innocent people, it later became clear that it was brutal revenge. Karem Lisbeth Yepes Ortiz, also known as La Señora, was born into a family deeply involved in the criminal world of Guanajuato, Mexico. Now, her brother, Jose Antonio Yepes Ortiz, popularly known as El Maro, was the leader of the Cartel de Santa Rosa de Lima, or the CSRL.
Se convirtió en el sucesor de José Antonio Yepes Ortiz, El Marro, después de su captura el pasado 2 de agosto.
This organization, named after their hometown, quickly gained a bad reputation for its extensive operations in fuel theft, drug trafficking, extortion, and violent battles against rival groups. Initially, CSRL was under the leadership of David Rogel Figueroa, or El Guero, before Jose Antonio Yepes Ortiz assumed control. Once El Mato took the reins, the cartel rapidly grew, turning its attention primarily to the lucrative and highly illegal activity of stealing fuel from Pemex pipelines, a practice known to the locals as huachicoleo. The substantial profits from this operation allowed CSRL to expand its influence, tightening its grip on the region, and becoming one of the major cartel players in Mexico. With this expansion, it was only a matter of time before CSRL had problems with other powerful cartels. The main challenge would come from the Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación, or CJNG, commanded by Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, alias El Mencho. Now guys, the CJNG is not a cartel you want to have business with, especially under the leadership of El Mencho, a man with no soul. But for some reason, Karem and her brother felt confident they could take on the CJNG and win. Wow, they soon learned how wrong they were. This intense rivalry started a wave of violence that gripped Guanajuato, transforming it into one of Mexico's most dangerous regions. The CSRL became notorious for its ruthless attacks, which included kidnappings, extortion, and targeted killings, pushing the region deeper into a crisis marked by bloodshed and fear. February 2019, Santa Rosa de Lima operatives launch a deadly attack on the CJNG. Two pickup trucks of CSRL suddenly stopped on a deserted dirt road, and masked men opened fire on suspected CJNG associates. The attack was meant as a warning and reminder of El Mato's determination to protect his territory. However, the CJNG was no stranger to brutality. So, just a few months later, the CJNG carried out a revenge attack. They released footage of a high-ranking Santa Rosa de Lima member, Adolfo Mendoza Valencia, who they had captured and bound shirtless to a chair. His execution was quick, and his lifeless body was left hanging from a highway overpass. But these were only warm-ups, as the battle between these two cartels would get even worse and cost Karem and her brother everything. January 2020. Karem was getting married to another member of her cartel. It all looked like a normal wedding. She would stand at the altar holding the hands of her soon-to-be husband, known in the cartel world as El Calamardo. But this wasn't just a ceremony. It was the forming of a strong alliance in a world where loyalty and survival are very important. However, unknown to the cartel boss lady, 3 vehicles stayed hidden outside the church. Each was filled with armed men wearing bulletproof vests marked with the unmistakable acronym of the CJNG. They were not guests, but agents of death, on the orders of Nemesio El Mencho Oseguera Cervantes himself. As the priest prepared to pronounce Karem and El Calamardo husband and wife, the silence was shattered with gunfire erupting from the back of the church. Karem barely had time to register what was happening as the gunman grabbed her husband from her side. Not long after, chaos erupted as repeated gunfire started, sending wedding guests scrambling for cover. Unfortunately, one bystander, an 18-year-old on his motorcycle, was caught in the crossfire outside and was hit. His friend and a passenger were also found nearby with their own bullet wounds. The gunmen hit their target, with Karem shot and dead on the spot. Her death was a message sent directly to her brother, El Mato, whose whereabouts at that time remained a mystery. Some reports hinted that he was present but was disguised in the crowd. The CJNG gunman left the church with Karem's husband, El Calamardo, and another unknown man. However, the death of Karem was only the beginning of the fall of the CSRL cartel. August 2nd, 2020, Mexican authorities captured Jose Antonio Yepes Ortiz in a dramatic raid in Juventino Rosas, Guanajuato. This operation, involving federal and state forces, also resulted in the rescue of a kidnapped businesswoman who was being held for ransom. El Maro's arrest would mark the end of an era in Guanajuato, but it wouldn't be the end of cartel violence in this Mexican state.
Oh, well. Oh, I wonder what people's thoughts about that. Those girls gotta be careful. I need to watch out. Let me look at this. Let me look at this. Full screen my picture. I'm looking at the comments. I see one comment says, as long as these videos exist, I feel no guilt how brutally Trump gets them out of the country yet. Ouch.
I just remembered something. Get out. I don't want you telling my daughter what boys like. I don't want you telling her what bees like, okay? She'll learn about that from me when she's 40.
Okay, shoot. I gotta take a little piss break here. I'll be right back. I might end it when I come back in. It's getting stale around here.
Are we like missing so many words now? Joe, now let me ask you something. In all the years that we've known each other, have I ever said anything wrong about any of your girlfriends? This is no surprise to you. You should have heard what she was teaching these kids. Where is Madeline? Nicole was there. She was listening.
Okay, I'm back again. Shoot, happy hour's over. No more drinking for me tonight. 2 hours left until bedtime. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do after this. Oh, out my nuts. Ouch. I'm still trying to get over to 100% again. Try to get over my sickness still. The allergies still exist. They're still there.
I think we should just throw ourselves out, Joe. They love us, Joe. Good night. You go and go to bed.
Shit, ain't nothing else going.
All right. Once upon a time, there were two bears. Both had dates. One bear's
Well, I've never seen this fish and what they look like before.
So the two bears had a stupid dinner, stupid colloquies. First bear said, "My porridge is real hot, and your porridge is real cold. So why don't you warm your porridge up with my porridge?" It was a stupid idea then. It's a stupid idea now. But it was working at the time. Thank you, said the other bear. So the moral to the story.
Ain't that. Oh.
The moral to the story is we're Papa Bears now, and Goldilocks lives with us. So from now on,
This.
when we bring porridge
Somebody can just not start to do the thing.
and can't be
That have you and whatever.
it has to be just right.
Oh, something popped on my thing.
Where's my daughter's face? I want to kiss her goodnight.
Over here, Dad.
Sweet dreams, Goldilocks. So, you're not mad at me anymore, are you? I'm mad at you. You ruined my night. Threw out my date. It's the last time I see her.
I don't think nobody's around anymore. You're my followers.
Anybody ever gonna be sleeping in my bed?
Sure, I don't think I feel like talking to no one anymore. Shit got lame. But Knuckles. So I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do from here. What the hell I'm gonna do from here? There's his name is fuck. Look, it's nothing else I got left to do. Just the thing is to do is to call it quits. Sell it. See y'all.